Network.
After a dramatic slugfest yesterday against the AL East rival Tampa Bay Rays, the Blue Jays are back in action today at Rogers Center, looking to even up the series and get some revenge in the 11-9 loss that took place yesterday. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Rogers Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host and producer tonight. Tom Young and Derek Brandeo are our technical directors. Appreciate you tuning in to tonight's broadcast. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Almont and Carlton Place. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986. So protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Well, as I mentioned earlier, it was all about the bats in yesterday's game. Today's starters will try and make it a little bit more about them. Chris Bassitt got off to a fantastic beginning to his season, but has struggled a little bit over his last 4. On the other side, right-hander Ryan Pepiot really struggled in his first couple starts of the season. He's been going the other way, absolutely surging over his last 3 or 4 outings. We'll see Pepiot and Bassitt battle when we come back. Also, lineups, standings, and first pitch on the other side. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Siding isn't just siding. It's your home's first impression and first line of defense. That's why pros reach for James Hardie, the name that built its reputation one rugged, good-looking board at a time. Engineered to stand up to Canada's wildest weather, designed to stand out on any street, and always priced right at Timber Mart. So when the job calls for smart, strong, and sharp, you'll know what to do. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is
What's up, baseball fans, Blue Jays fans from all over the world? Thank you for hanging out with us. Man, our Jays they just keep playing tricks with us, don't they? First thing, we're getting 3 straight wins against Seattle. Life's going good. And then, boom, right back down to earth against the Rays last night, losing that tough one at the end of the game. 2, that has just been happening way too consistently for this team with the amount of talent that we have. But we appreciate you being here. Let's get a victory tonight. We need you to cheer on our boys loud. We need you to cheer on Vladdy and Bo and George and the rest of our Blue Jays so that they can please get a win here tonight over the AL East rival, the Devil Rays. Now, big things, get the YouTube stuff out of the way. Please help us bring more Blue Jays fans to this awesome Toronto sports community by hitting the like button, sharing this link out to your baseball friends, and if not, hockey friends, Leafs, we're live for that right now as well. Game 5, TFC, live for that as well. You get the point. Thank you for being here. Don't forget our SickKids Hospital Playoff Pulse campaign logo is up there as well. We'll see you back in the chat.
Swinging a high fly ball, deep right field, near the pole, it's good! Off the front base of the 500 level, Dalton Varsho gives the Blue Jays their first lead tonight, 7-6 Toronto. That was some of the highlights yesterday of Dalton Varsho's performance. He gave the Blue Jays a lead going into the 9th inning. They did not end up winning the game, but Varsho a huge positive in that one. Game 2 about to start between the Blue Jays and the Rays. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. And Chris, let's talk about him a little bit more. Dalton Varsho, sliding catch yesterday and came up with 2 home runs. He's already tied for the team lead in homers with 5 this year, and today he'll play in his 11th game, make his 10th start of the year.
Yeah, he has 4 home runs in May, 3 home runs in his last 4 ball games. This is a guy that brings a lot more than just defense. Obviously, last year he had a little bit of a speed bump in terms of production, but this is a guy that has a ton of power, and we're seeing it over the last 11 games or so. I mean, he's flashing his leather out there. He's swinging the bat. He is basically putting this team on his back right now and turning them into a contender. I know that's crazy to say at 20 and 21, but I truly believe with Dalton Varsho really swinging the bat well, this team is a contender.
Speaking of, let's take a look at the Bet365 standings. With the Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and you can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Couple games going on or have already finished up today. New York Yankees and Baltimore Orioles getting in action earlier on today. Yankees game, has that one closed? It has. So the Yankees winning. They're now 25-18 atop the division. The Red Sox in second, 22-22. The Blue Jays in third, 20-21. Tampa Bay Rays are 19-22, and the Orioles getting swept in a double header today. So Baltimore's record has dropped to 15-26. It's an AL East matchup, the Blue Jays and the Rays. Who's in the lineup for Kevin Cash's Rays, Chris?
Well, leading off is speedster Chandler Simpson. He's in left field at second base. Batting second is Brandon Lau. Batting third is Junior Caminero. He's at third base. In the cleanup spot is Jonathan Aranda. He's at first base. DHing tonight for the Rays. Batting fifth is Christopher Morel. Batting sixth is Cameron Meisner. He's in center field. At shortstop, batting seventh is Jose Caballero. Batting eighth is Travis Jankowski. He's in right field. And behind the dish, former Jay, Danny Jansen. He's batting ninth. On the mound for the Tampa Bay Rays is righty Ryan Pepio. For the Toronto Blue Jays, leading off is Bo Bichette. He's at shortstop. At first base, batting second is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Batting third is Anthony Santander. He's DHing tonight. In right field, in the cleanup spot, is George Springer. Batting fifth is Dalton Varsho. He's in center field. Behind the dish is Alejandro Kirk. He's hitting sixth. Hitting seventh is Addison Barger. He's at third base tonight. Batting eighth is Ernie Clement. He's at second base. And batting ninth in left field is Jonathan Clase. On the mound is righty Chris Bassett.
Chris Bassett, 6'5", 217 pounds, a right-hander born in Toledo, Ohio. For Bassett, he's now pitching in his 11th Major League season, making his 9th start of the year, 3-2 with a 3.35 ERA. The numbers are great overall for Chris Bassett. The concern is what's been going on recently. We'll get into that more as this first inning goes on. But first, in the all-white uniform, pants and jersey with a royal blue cap, Bassett steps onto the top of the hill. Into the wind, his pitch to Chandler Simpson. Called a strike, 0-1. Time of the first pitch today, 7:08 Eastern. Roof is closed at Rogers Center. It's 15 degrees and cloudy outside. 0-1. Hit on a line out to left field. That's going to sink into the side netting where the short wall juts out toward the field of play. 0-2. The mix for Bassett is pretty much everything, but the lion's share of his pitches are sinkers, cutters, and curves. Next pitch hit on the ground to second base. Ernie Clement has it, throws on to first, has a good splitter, gets Simpson to roll over, 1 out.
And Ernie Clement really got rid of that baseball quickly. Chandler Simpson, like we saw last night, has a ton of speed running down that line. Big first out for Chris Bassett.
Bassett gave up a couple runs in his first inning of his last start, where he gave up 5 runs, 4 earned in 6 innings against the Angels. Pitch to Brandon Lau, swing and a miss. Even though Bassett's been up and down recently, the Blue Jays have won each of his last 2 starts, including that one against the Angels, where they snuck away with 1 win in that 3-game series. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. But overall for Bassett, It's been an interesting start to his year. He had an ERA below 1 in his first 4 starts. 0.77. 1-1 pitch. Outside, 2-1. And then you look at the last 4 starts, an earned run average over 6. And he's allowed at least 4 earned runs in 3 of the 4 starts. 3 earned runs in all 4 of them. 2-1. High, ball 3.
And if you look at the walks, he's not really walking a ton of guys either. He had 1 walk in his last start, 0 walks in the start before that, and then just 1 walk against the Yankees on April 27th.
3-1 pitch, fouled back into the netting, 3-2.
So when I look at that, I just tend to think that he's leaving too many pitches over the middle of the plate, too many hittable pitches, and that's where opposing teams are doing their damage, really.
Home run has been a concern. Didn't allow a homer in his first 5 starts. He's allowed 6 homers in the last 3. Payoff pitch. Lau rips it foul on the ground. Ricochets off the sidewall, still 3-2.
So does he have to throw more strikes? Maybe, but just better strikes is what I always tell guys. Throw better strikes. Don't just throw strikes. Throw better strikes. And I'm sure Chris Bassett knows that.
His 3-2. Curveball, caught him looking, strike 3. Landed it perfectly on the outside corner, bottom of the zone, and there are 2 outs.
Well, that's a better strike right there. Bottom corner on the outside part of the plate. Brandon Lau doesn't like it, but that is a perfect pitch. A pitcher's pitch. I mean, that's in the strike zone.
So 2 outs, bases empty. Top of the first inning, Blue Jays and Rays, and the pitch to Junior Caminero is hit foul sharply down the right side, 0-1. Ball nearly struck the crew chief and first base umpire Adrian Johnson, who had to jump out of the way. It's Paul Clemens calling balls and strikes tonight. Johnson at first, Quinn Walcott, the second base umpire, Ramon DeJesus at third. Caminero will ask for time, gives us a sec to let you know that the first inning is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north. Feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. 0-1 hit on the ground up the middle, dive from Bichette. It goes under his glove and into center for a base hit.
It wasn't a bad pitch from Chris Bassett. It was a sinker. They're trying to come inside. Didn't quite get it in enough. Junior Caminero got the barrel to it and just snuck it by Bo Bichette up the middle.
I think those are the misses he can live with a little bit more. It's when he's up even further out over the plate. That's when the home runs have come against Chris Bassett. It is an early knock, though, for the Rays, who have a runner on first. 2 outs. Scoreless game. Here's Jonathan Aranda. Bassett's pitch. Hit foul just over the netting and off the front facing of the 200 level. It bounces back into the 100 level seats. It's 0-1.
Against lefties specifically, we've seen him get into trouble a lot trying to throw that sinker inside, that front hip sinker, and it tends to leak over the middle of the plate. He's gotten into a lot of trouble in the past with that pitch.
Misses inside there with a cutter. Broke in on the left-handed hitter Aranda. 1-1.
He was really good with that pitch early on. And recently it's starting to leak back over the plate just a little bit. He's got to get that thing inside.
His pitch. Curveball misses away. 2 balls, 1 strike. It isn't quite the split that he's had at times in his career, but left-handed batters do have a 795 on base plus slugging against him. Righties 610. 2-1. Outside 3-1.
And even with that last pitch right there, you could see Alejandro Kirk set up and in, and it ended up arm side high, way off the plate outside. That's just telling me that he's dragging that arm when he's finishing or when he's trying to finish.
3-1 pitch. Swing and a bouncing ball up the middle into right center. Stopping at second base, no. Caminero is going to go. Springer's throw cut off by Clement, and it's runners on the corners after back-to-back singles. No score, 2 outs, top of the first.
It seemed like Caminero was trying to fake out George Springer. He almost stopped at second base. George Springer kind of nonchalantly picked that ball up, wasn't ready for Caminero to go, and then all of a sudden Caminero took off and George Springer wasn't ready for it.
He did almost completely stop. He was stutter stepping into second, looked over his right shoulder, looked at his base coach Brady Williams at third, and then took off for third base.
Pretty nice play.
Was it on purpose? Was it not? We'll never know.
Did he just trip? We have no idea.
First and third for the Rays. First appearance of the series for Christopher Morel. DHing today, he bats right. The pitch. Broken bat, fly ball, shallow center. Ernie Clement, the second baseman, out there to make the catch and end the inning. After giving up the 2 hits, Bassett only needs 1 pitch to get out of it. Strands a pair and keeps it scoreless. Bottom of the first coming up next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL 3-topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Order pizzapizza.ca.
Break it at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Clement vacuums it up, throws to second one. Jimenez to first, double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Ryan Pepio on the hill. His 9th start of the season. The 27-year-old, 6'3", 210-pound right-hander looks in at Bo Bichette. The pitch. Up and in with a heater. Ball 1. Pepio 2-4 on the season, a 3.86 ERA and 8 starts. Mentioned at the top of the broadcast, moving in the opposite direction of Chris Bassett over the last couple outings. 1-0. Swing and a fly ball, deep right. Going back, Jankowski at the warning track makes the catch. And it's a long, loud first out.
Bo Bichette was all over that fastball. It was a little bit above that strike zone, but like we've seen so often, Bo Bichette is so good at going up and getting it and driving that pitch the other way. I think he just missed that pitch.
It's a 94-mile-per-hour heater at the top of the zone that he hit to right. Pepio's got a 4-seamer change, slider, cutter, and curve. Pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. Inside, ball 1. One thing for Pepio, he's really done well recently. He's limiting the long ball in a big way. 1-0. Swing and a fly ball, fading foul into the seats. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Pepio gave up 8 home runs in his first 4 starts, an average of 2 a start. In his last 3, he's given up no home runs across 16 1/3 innings. 1-1 pitch. Fouled back 1-2.
Pepio's got a lot of angle on that fastball. It sits about 94 to 96 miles an hour, but it's really hard to square up because of that angle. Doesn't have a ton of movement, doesn't have a lot of vertical drop to it. Just the angle is just tough to hit.
1-2 pitches inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. He's pretty tall at 6'3", but he even gets a little bit more extension stepping out to the plate than the average guy. His 2-2 is fouled back by Vlad. Still 2-2. I mean, look, if you're a pitcher and the Dodgers have valued you and the Rays have valued you, you probably got something pretty good going on.
You've got some high value.
Yeah. Those 2 organizations, they come up with a lot of pitching and a lot of good pitching. 2-2. Inside, ball 3. Pepio, a native of Indianapolis, went to hometown college Butler, drafted by the Dodgers out of Butler in the 3rd round in 2019. Payoff pitch. Swing and a liner lashed up the middle, a base hit in the left center. Guerrero rounds first. He'll stop there. He's got the first Blue Jay hit of the day with 1 out.
Guerrero was all over that 4-seam fastball from Ryan Pepio. It was kind of right down the middle, about thigh high. and he hammered that right up the middle, barreled it up really nicely.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. That's Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman. Runner on first, one out, no score, bottom of the first. And Ryan Pepio looks in at Anthony Santander. Santander, switch hitter, batting left. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike one.
I have to say, outside of Ryan Pepio, I don't think I've ever come across somebody that played baseball at Butler. I know I could look it up. I don't want to look it up. I'm just speaking about
so you don't want me to find
personal experience.
0-1. Swing and a miss, nothing in two.
You're looking it up, aren't you?
I am looking it up. Although I looked it up earlier and I didn't jot any names down, so not like there's a bunch of stars, but there's a couple. 0-2. Swing and a foul back headed our direction. That's going to go off the official scorer's box right beside us and roll back down into the seats.
I got sweaty really quickly right there. I was too close for comfort.
I was kind of frozen in place. Whatever was going to happen was going to happen. Still Guerrero on first, still one out. 0-2. Outside to Santander, steps across the plate as he takes it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The most decorated player out of Butler would be pitcher Doug Jones, a 5-time All-Star, mostly with Cleveland in the late 80s, early 90s. 1-2. Down and in, 2-2. But overall, not a lot of Butler players have made the big leagues. Only 7 have total. And by being drafted in the 3rd round, Pepio is by far the highest drafted Butler player ever. A couple guys have gone in the top 10 rounds. That's pretty much it.
What conference are they in?
I don't know what they are in baseball.
Was it Conference USA at one point? I can't remember. All these things are available on the internet, but I'm not willing to do it.
Yes, but these people are in their car, Chris. You can't have them going on the internet. They're also in the Big East in baseball. I wasn't 100% sure. 2-2, hit on the ground right side, and a base hit for Santander. Guerrero hits the bag at second. He'll head into third with a slide. Throwback to first after the cutoff. Santander with a head-first dive. And it's a 2-strike base hit for the Blue Jay DH to put runners on the corners, 1 out.
Well, Ryan Pepio left that changeup up over the middle of the plate. Anthony Santander, I think he got it off the end of the bat. It was actually off the plate outside, and he hooked it through that hole on the right side. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. speeds around second base. First and third now with just 1 out in this inning.
Early big opportunity for the Blue Jays. Right fielder George Springer to hit. Runners on the corners, 1 down, no score, bottom of the first. Pepio kicks and deals. Springer takes down and away, ball 1. Springer was hitless yesterday, 0 for 3. He did walk in both the 8th and the 9th inning. Right on right, 1-0. Low ball 2.
There's a big hole on the right side of the infield. Second baseman Brandon Lau is almost behind second base, and Jonathan Aranda is holding on Anthony Santander at first base.
(2-0). Called strike just on the inside edge. Springer wasn't so sure. He tilted his head to the side, but it looked to hit the strike box. It's 2-1. Springer batting .289 coming into this game. .908 OPS, 18 RBIs. 2-1. Hit on the ground and backhanded at short. Caballero throws to second, 1 over to first for an inning-ending double play. No runs on 2 hits for the Blue Jays. 1 left after the double play. No score. Blue Jays and Rays. End of the first. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The PGA Championship is on Sirius XM.
Yes! Are you kidding me?
What a shot. Follow all the action on Channel 92.
He made it! My goodness! Rory McIlroy!
Our roster of experts discuss how Rory McIlroy will follow up his masterful performance.
Rory's going to win a second major.
I put him as a favorite this week because of the golf course and how much he likes it.
Coverage of the PGA Championship from Quail Hollow Club begins tomorrow at 2 Eastern on Channel 92 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday.
5 p.m. Eastern.
It's the NASCAR All-Star Race
From North Wilkesboro Speedway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 and on the SiriusXM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Radio Network.
Top of the second inning, no score, Blue Jays and Rays. Leading off the inning, left-handed hitter Cameron Meisner takes a strike from Chris Bassett, 0-1. Second inning is presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Bassett tapping the side of his head. He's got some PitchCom issues. Paul Clemens and Alejandro Kirk are going to walk out to the mound.
Is it just me or does this happen a lot?
It happens a lot. And I don't know this for a fact, I'm completely guessing, but I think a lot of the time it's just that the device doesn't have enough battery.
And you'd think that they would charge it before the game.
It's insane to me.
You'd think.
Well, they have multiple. How quickly do these things lose charge? Your phone is processing 1,000 things, half of which are stealing your information.
But it's not
right
dealing
now.
with sweat.
And it's going to stay awake the whole day. Here's the 0-1 to Meisner. Called a strike, 0-2.
Ben, we went over this before the game. All my credit cards are locked if
That's
I'm not
true.
using them.
Meisner, the rookie, playing in his 37th game of the year. 0-2. Fouled off to the left. Rays center fielders, tall left-handed hitter, hikes up the gray pants, showing his dark blue socks. Had one hit yesterday, 1 for 5 overall. Singled in the 6th, scored on that weird pickoff play. And Bassett can't hear it again, it seems like. Paul Clemens saying what all of us are saying as he waves over at the Blue Jay dugout. Get this guy a new PitchCom.
I feel like, and this is just me being in a bad mood right now, I feel like that should be a ball. If your team can't come up...
Multiple PitchCom issues in one.
If you have more than one PitchCom issue, that's a team issue. That should be a ball.
It's kind of
or
fair.
a strike, depending on what side of the field you're on.
I don't hate the idea. Well, it would always be the pitcher, right? Because the hitters don't have any PitchCom.
That's true, I guess. You're right. That was a silly error on my part.
It's all right. We're all emotional right now. Vladdy's running in. Is there an issue? Vladdy's going to give Bassett his PitchCom, and they're going to give Vladdy a different PitchCom. Does that mean they don't have enough working PitchComs right now?
These are questions I need to ask. Like, how many PitchComs do you guys have in that dugout?
Also, there's no one on base. Do you need the PitchCom? But then we're getting philosophical. And all of this because there have been only 2 pitches thrown, Chris.
Just throw some fingers down. My goodness.
Get the nail polish back out. Bassett's on the hill. 0-2 count to the leadoff hitter in the inning. The pitch to Meisner. Check swing, bouncer, foul. Will we get 2 pitches in a row this inning without a stoppage? Bassett looking at the ball. Steps on the third base side of the rubber. He comes set. And another 0-2. Outside, ball 1. We did it.
You can tell you're dying to watch a Leafs game right now.
I was going to get to the out-of-town scoreboard. We had enough time, but back in action again, so we can get to it in a sec. 1-2. Outside 2-2. Meisner, Caballero, Jankowski to hit for the Rays this inning. Left, right, left. Bassett gave up 2 hits in the first, both singles. Stranded runners on the corners. His 2-2 is powered foul over the netting off to the left. Out of play. .65 righty goes to his right hip, communicating to Kirk through the PitchCom. And now a 2-2. Swing and a miss. Elevated the cutter. He strikes him out. And there's one out here in the top of the second.
And I think before that pitch, they hadn't figured out what location they wanted to throw that pitch. You saw Alejandro Kirk tilt his head to the inside part of the plate, and then he moved in, set up that target up and in. I mean, that might have been the first time I've ever seen that.
Pitch down to Jose Caballero. Speedy shortstop takes outside. Ball 1. No score. Top of the second with the bases empty. And both corners in for the Blue Jays. 1-0. Swing and a high fly ball. Deep center field. Varsho going back. Stops just in front of the warning track. Makes the catch. 2 outs. Caballero got a good chunk of that ball. He is not much of a home run threat, but he looked dangerous there.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad pitch. It was a sinker at the bottom of that strike zone. But like you said, Caballero doesn't have a ton of pop, but he squared that ball up.
He must have hit that ball 370 feet maybe to straightaway center. Pitch to Travis Jankowski, called a strike. Left-handed hitter takes a pitch to make it 0-1. Long blonde hair for the 2023 World Series champion, Travis Jankowski. Swings at the 0-1, hits it foul through his legs. 0-2. Jankowski yesterday had a quiet day if you look at the box score. 0 for 3, a walk, a run scored. But it was his walk that started that 5-run top of the 9th. 0-2 cut on and missed. He got him. Strike 3. 1-2-3 inning for Chris Bassett with a pair of punch-outs. No score in this ball game as we go to the bottom of the second at Rogers Center. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Which loony dogger are you? Do you approach Tuesdays with swagger and style? You could be a Rizzy Glizzy. Maybe you're an architect stacking your loony dogs up high. Do you walk into the ballpark with the confidence of an MVD? Then you're the most valuable dogger. This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. No matter which loony dogger you are, you'll have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the ballpark. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Every Tuesday home game. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Next pitch, Moniak takes off. It's low a ball, throw down to second. They got him!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom 2, and yesterday's star for the Blue Jays, Dalton Varsho, leads off the inning in a scoreless game, Blue Jays and Rays. First pitch, swing and a pop-up, third base side foul, potentially playable for Caminero, who will make the catch just beside the side warning track. 1 pitch, 1 out to start the inning. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman, and that music you hear, the familiar walk-up song of Alejandro Kirk, who returns to the lineup today after being pulled midway on Sunday because he was hit on the top/back of the head on a backswing from Julio Rodriguez. Did not play yesterday, but in there today, starting at catcher, batting 6th. Pitch from Pepio. Outside at 95, ball 1.
It's good to see him back in the lineup. He's been such a rock for this lineup over the last couple of weeks, swinging the bat well, throwing runners out at second base, and framing pitches. He's doing it all.
The 1-0. Swing and a fly ball left field, medium depth. Started back now, Simpson coming in, stops, makes the catch to his left. And there are 2 outs.
And you can see over the last couple of at-bats, that fastball of Ryan Pepio's really gets on guys. It's almost like they're right on it, and then at the last second it hits another gear and it gets up on you, and you end up getting jammed just like Alejandro Kirk did there.
I think a big thing for him, too, has been really using that changeup a lot. It seems to have gotten guys off of his fastball. First pitch now, called a strike against Addison Barger. It's 0-1. 2 outs, base is empty. No score, bottom of the second. Barger, open stance, left side. The 0-1. Swing and a high fly ball, right field, hooking foul into the seats. 0-2. Hitless day yesterday for Barger, 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. He asks for time, steps out of the box, and now steps right back in. Two-tone bat, light handle, black barrel. The 0-2. Called, strike 3, 97 on the outside edge. First strikeout of the day for Ryan Pepio to finish off a 1-2-3, bottom of the second. Both starters dealing so far. We go to the third, 0-0 Blue Jays and Rays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Insulation that does more than keep you warm? That's Rock Wool Stone Wool. Fire-resistant, soundproof, moisture-repellent, built to handle what other insulations can't. Whether it's for a reno, a new build, or the peace and quiet you've been dreaming of, Rock Wool Insulation delivers serious performance where it counts. Insulation with a reputation. Get it where the smart builders shop at Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
The 0-2 pitch. Fastball, strike 3 looking.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Danny Jansen leading off for the Rays, top of the 3rd inning. No score in the game. Chris Bassett winds and offers. First pitch called inside on a check swing by Jansen. Appeal down to first. No swing, says Adrian Johnson. Ball 1. Danny Jansen made his mark yesterday. Despite struggling at the plate so far this season, he was on base 3 different times yesterday, homered and had a 9th inning single. 1-0 pitch, called a strike, 1-1. Jansen batting .179 on the year, OPS just above 600. The pitch, swing and a miss, out in front of that slow curve he's caught so many times. It's 1-2.
You should have knew that was coming. Come on, Danny.
I will say, in his defense, Kirk has been more the partner for Chris Bassett than Danny Jansen was the last couple years. 1-2 pitch, high and outside, ball 2. Open stance, no batting gloves for Jansen. Waving the bat above his right shoulder. 2-2 pitch. Hit on the ground, back to the mound. On 2 hops, picked up by Bassett. Underhand flip to Guerrero at first, and Danny Jansen retired for the first out of the inning.
That was a really, really good sinker, and that's something he really hasn't had total command of over his last 3 or 4 starts. Throwing that good sinker into right-handed hitters on the black, something that he really commanded well over his first 4 starts. Good to see that again.
Top of the order, 1 out. Addison Barger playing in at third as Chandler Simpson hits. The pitch. Inside, ball 1. Third inning brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Almont and Carlton Place. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. 1-0 pitch, hit foul off the end of the bat. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
You said yesterday that Chandler Simpson has the 11th best sprint speed in Major League Baseball. It's hard to imagine 10 faster guys than him.
I know. 29.7 feet per second. 1-1 pitch inside, 2-1. Feels like you want to know who the 10 guys are that are faster than him.
I just want to know one guy that's faster than him.
Bobby Witt Jr.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
One I can get you quick.
Forgot about him.
2-1. Called strike 2-2. According to StatCast, sprint speed, although Simpson has actually jumped up. So now he's the 5th fastest guy.
Ah, perfect.
Next pitch in the dirt. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes. The guy's faster than him right now. Bobby Witt Jr., Byron Buxton, very fast although he's had injuries. Victor Scott of the Cardinals and Eli White of the Braves. Three-2 pitch. Bounced high, middle of the infield. This one is a gimme for Simpson. Before Bichette even got to the ball, Chandler Simpson crosses the bag at first. It's an infield hit on a Baltimore chop that went about 25 feet in the air over the mound.
I believe that ball hit off the plate. And as soon as that thing got to its peak, I mean, you could pretty much give him first base with that sprint speed that we were just talking about. Pretty cool seeing him flying down the line.
And the Blue Jays truly played it, Bichette and Clement, to just not let that ball get by them. First pitch to Brandon Lau is low, ball 1. So an infield hit, technically to shortstop for Chandler Simpson, although it never even got out of the infield turf. He's a huge threat to run. Takes a small lead off first. Pass, it's 1-0. Simpson goes. Pitch is low, a ball. Throw down to second. Not in time. That was pretty close. And Bo Bichette looking into the Blue Jay dugout. Usually you don't have a chance against that guy, but Alejandro Kirk at least is giving the Blue Jays some thoughts about challenging. And they are going to challenge this play.
I mean, we haven't seen a replay yet, but I thought he was out.
Challenging the safe call at second base.
For now, it stands as Chandler Simpson's 8th stolen base of the season. He has been caught once before in the majors this year, and we're about to get a look at that slow motion replay.
That was a heck of a throw from Alejandro Kirk. Might have been his best throw of the season. He's out. Got him on the side of the helmet before that left hand got in there.
I even think the glove swiping across probably also hit him in the chest before the hand got there.
He's out. They'll reverse this call pretty quickly, I can imagine. Like I said, good to have Alejandro Kirk back in the lineup.
Chandler Simpson, who stole.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is out. Toronto will retain their challenge.
So a guy who stole over 100 bases in the minors last year gets caught for the second time in the majors this year. Alejandro Kirk throws him out. And now it's 2 outs, bases empty, thanks to the Blue Jay backstop.
And that's what it takes to get Chandler Simpson caught stealing. You got to throw a perfect strike to second or third, and Alejandro Kirk did just that. What a throw.
He had to do it on a pitch that was low, below the zone, not the easiest to catch and transfer. Job well done by Kirk. 2-0 count. No score in this game. 2 outs top of the third. Bassett offers. And Lau powers it out to right center field. Varsho ranging back at the warning track, curling. It's off the fence. George Springer cuts it off, backing up Varsho, gets it into Ernie Clement. But Lau already standing on second with a double.
We are so used to Dalton Varsho making those incredibly difficult catches. I thought he was going to make that catch. Looked like he had a beat on it. Just kind of gave up on it at the last second. Didn't want to come crashing into that wall. So close, though.
For Lau, only his second double of the year. And you look at the gravity now of that caught stealing. A run would have scored. Instead, it's still 0-0. Runner on second, 2 outs. And from the stretch, Bassett deals to Caminero. Swing and a miss by the right-handed hitting third baseman, 0-1. Caminero came up with a hit in the first inning up the middle. And yesterday hit his first career grand slam. 0-1. Inside. Breaking ball started at the back of Caminero, who twisted out of the way. It actually wouldn't have hit him, but it did land pretty far in either way. Open stance for Caminero. Black cleats. The 1-1. Foul back, 1-2. Ray's third baseman asks for time. That gives Chris Bassett a moment. He goes to the back of the mound. Grabs on each of the 2 different rosin bags out there. Now slips his glove back onto his left hand and has the ball in his right. Looking toward Alejandro Kirk. Bassett comes set. A peek at second at Lau. And the 1-2. Swing and a pop-up to short. Backpedaling Bichette makes the play, and the inning is over. No runs on 2 hits, 1 caught stealing, 1 left on second. No score in this game, middle of 3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Find out who will lift the FA Cup trophy this weekend on SiriusXM FC. Crystal Palace are 90 minutes away from their first FA Cup title.
Eze into the area, right-footed shot, slams it in!
In their path is a dangerous Manchester City side, keen on salvaging their season.
Oh, Kevin De Bruyne, that is simply sensational.
It's the FA Cup final, Palace versus City, Saturday at 11:30 Eastern on SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio, every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Ernie Clement leading off for the Blue Jays as we go to the bottom of the third. No score in the game, Blue Jays and Rays, and the first pitch from Pepio is a heater for strike 1. 8-9-1 for the Blue Jays. Clement, Clase, Bichette. Pepio steps to the left, kicks and offers. This one rolled over to third base. Curling around it, it's bobbled by Caminero, and Clement looking back realizes he's safe at first without a throw. Rookie junior Caminero commits an error, and the Blue Jays have a leadoff base runner.
And how about that? The Blue Jays need to take advantage of that miscue from Caminero at third base. A very makeable play. He just took his eye off the ball for a split second, and Ernie Clements ends up at first base with nobody out in this inning.
Speedy Jonathan Clase up, switch hitter batting left. The pitch, squares to bunt, pulls it back, and the pitch is high and outside, ball one. Fifth game of the Major League season for Jonathan Clase, and the first game that he plays at Rogers Center this year. 2 for 15 overall on the year, a double, 2 RBIs, 4 strikeouts, 1-0. Foul tip on a big swing, 1-1. Clase started last in Seattle on Sunday, came up with a 2-run double after Miles Straw had bunted to set him up. Step off throw over to first, Clement back in with a dive.
Ernie Clement does have 2 stolen bases this season, so he is a threat to run. Doesn't do it all that often, but has a little bit of speed over there.
The 1-1. Upstairs, 2 balls and 1 strike. Ray's still wary of the speed of Clase, even though he only showed bunt on the first pitch. Third baseman Caminero is in. He is playing well off the line. Shortstop Caballero is up the middle. He's even a little bit more in than usual. 2-1 pitch, ripped and missed, 2-2. Now Caminero will backpedal a little bit. He's going to head towards second base, the Rays third baseman, and maybe 10-15 feet back on the dirt. Nobody out, runner on first. The 2-2. Called, strike 3. What a pitch there from Ryan Pepio, 96 on the inner third. And that's his second strikeout today.
That's a pitcher's pitch right there. Even if you're fooled by that pitch like Clase was, you still have to at least shorten up and try to foul that ball off and stay alive. Like I said, that guy at first base needs to get to second base. And he's still at first with 1 out now in this inning.
Bo Bichette up. Clement on first. First pitch, called a strike. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. When it comes to home improvements, Timbermart has the expert advice and the right products at the right price, so you won't find yourself out in left field on your next DIY project. Game on, home team. Timbermart is Canada's building center. 0-1. Inside. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host and producer. Tom Young and Derek Brandeo, our technical directors. Bichette with a homer, a walk, and a double yesterday. 3 RBIs. The 1-1. Bounced foul right side. Mark Budzinski dancing out of the way. The Blue Jay first base coach with some quick feet there. It's 1-2. Dirt all up and down the white uniform for Bichette. He dove up the middle on a play in the first inning, and he's been dirty ever since. 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Fooled him with the changeup. Got Bichette out in front, and there are 2 down.
There's that changeup that you mentioned earlier on in the ball game. So much depth to it. And again, good arm speed. Looks like a fastball. You throw that thing to the bottom of the strike zone. A hitter thinks it's a fastball, and it just dives down. Threw a good one right there.
So 2 outs. Clement still on first, and the pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. called a strike. That changeup for Pepio. Batters have hit 133 against it this year with a .250 slugging percentage. 0-1. Swing and a liner caught. That's short by Caballero as he fell down to the turf to make the play and end the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left. Ernie Clement stranded on first. No score through 3 innings in this ballgame. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing!
Live in the moment.
Rory McIlroy on his knees. He's won the Masters
with live sports on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
The football talk doesn't stop on SiriusXM NFL Radio.
They're mentally tough, they're physically tough, and they're talented.
From OTAs to mini camps and leading up to training camps, stay updated on the latest news around the National Football League.
Got to practice a certain way if you want to be winners.
Our experts are getting you ready for the 2025 season.
For the veteran players, they want to see the guy earn the job.
There's a story for every team on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the SiriusXM app.
The UFC is on SiriusXM. Hear all the action live from the Octagon every weekend on SiriusXM Fight Nation Channel 156.
Radio Network.
Top of the fourth in downtown Toronto. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Pitch to Jonathan Aranda, misses down and in from Chris Bassett, ball one. No score between the Blue Jays and the Rays. Both teams with a little bit of traffic, but have not come up with the big hit thus far. Bassett on 50 pitches, looking in at the left-handed hitting first baseman Aranda. Now he brings his hands together at his chest, and the 1-0. High and outside, ball two. This fourth inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. 2-0 pitch, high and outside again, ball three.
We've seen this a little bit from Chris Bassett this season. We've seen it actually pretty often from Jose Barrios, where all of a sudden he kind of just loses command of the strike zone.
3-0 pitch is inside, ball four. A 4-pitch walk to Jonathan Aranda.
And just like that, 4 pitches, 4 balls, and the leadoff guy is on base for the Tampa Bay Rays. Obviously, Jonathan Aranda is a very dangerous hitter, so you probably don't mind walking him. But you got to mind walking him as the leadoff hitter with nobody out in the inning.
It is a bad omen. Now we'll face Christopher Morel, who pumped up to shortstop on the first pitch he faced last inning. He swings at the first pitch this one, grounds it to third. Barger over to second for 1 out. That's all they'll get. Got stuck in the glove for a moment of Addison Barger, but he cuts down the lead runner. Morel replaces Aranda over at first base after a fielder's choice, and there's 1 out.
Well, I thought as soon as Addison Barger bobbled that baseball that he would just throw to first base and get that guy at first base, but he decided to stick with second base, and Jonathan Aranda almost beat that out.
I think it was a combination of slow runner, hard thrower that made it possible, but probably 9 times out of 10 that throw goes to first. First pitch to Cameron Meisner, high and outside, ball 1.
Yeah, that's the general rule. If you're an infielder and you bobble that baseball, you just go ahead and get the sure out at first base and forget about that lead runner. But Addison Barger with that good arm.
Barger playing in again. Left-handed hitting Meisner up. The pitch. Runner takes off from first. Swing and a miss. And the throw goes into center field. Picking himself up from second, Morel goes over to third. Throw was not terrible from Alejandro Kirk. Bo Bichette racing in there, had to come from far away and got there a little bit late. I think they're going to say that that's an error on Kirk. I think Kirk threw it exactly where he wanted to throw it.
Yeah, watching the replay, I think Bo Bichette was just a little bit late in reacting. Not a terrible throw, not a perfect throw. But if that's a decent throw and Bo Bichette's at second base, they have him easily.
Now the infield has to come in. A runner on third base, only 1 out. Bassett looking for his strikeout, deals to Cameron Meisner. Low and outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Bad news is a fly ball can give the Rays the lead. Good news is Chris Bassett struck out Cameron Meisner on a cutter in the second inning. The pitch. Called a strike. Meisner in general has been a high strikeout player, striking out about once a game. He has 37 punch-outs right now on the season.
You think he'll throw that cutter to the top of the strike zone?
Good bet.
Sounds like a good pitch right now to me.
Feels like two options for Bassett, who steps off. Cutter up, curveball down.
Two good options. Just don't leave it in the middle.
With maybe an outside chance of a splitter down and away. Bassett sets. Runner on third, one out. With the infield in, his 2-2. No, it's going to be a step and throw over to third. He does the lefty move that typically goes to first, except he's a righty. So he does it to third and chases back Morel. He is one of one.
That's a rare one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can honestly say I've never done that. And I don't think a lot of people have.
No.
But like you said, he's one of one.
Pass it back on the top of the hill. The 2-2. Check swing, bounce foul. Fouled off there by Meisner, who was trying to hold up the swing on the elevated cutter, just like you mentioned, Chris.
Not a bad pitch. Maybe a little bit inside. You can see Alejandro Kirk set up down the middle, but elevated. I like that pitch. He's really commanded it well for the majority of the season.
Another 2-2. Swing and a line drive, base hit down in right field. In to score Morel. It's an RBI single for Meisner as that cutter was left over the plate, and the Rays take a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, like I said, if you're going to throw a pitch, especially to Cameron Meisner, who you've already struck out in this ball game with 2 strikes, just don't leave it over the middle of the plate. You can see Alejandro Kirk set up for that cutter, but that thing was right down Broadway, and Cameron Meisner didn't miss it.
He had missed too far inside on the one before, maybe trying to overcorrect there. Or not trying to, but ending up overcorrecting there. He misses over the plate. So it's 1-0 Tampa Bay. 1 out, 1 on. Step off, throw over to first. And Meisner is back in there. Jose Caballero to hit a deep flyout in the second inning to center field. Blue Jays are still playing him fairly shallow as the first pitch misses inside, pops off the glove of Kirk, but doesn't go far enough for Meisner to move. Ball 1.
Caballero's a tough guy to double up as well. 9 stolen bases this season, has a ton of speed.
In an American League leading 44 stolen bases last year. 1 year with Seattle, now in his second year with Tampa Bay. 1-0 pitch. Slow curve freezes him. Called strike.
That's a good pitch for him tonight. He's thrown a bunch of good ones. That one's 69.9 miles an hour.
The 1-1. Chopped foul, bouncing toward the camera well on the near side of the Blue Jays dugout. It's 1-2.
I love that sequence. The slow breaking ball, 69, 70 miles an hour, and then you bust that righty in with a sinker.
So how do you follow that up?
Oh, I don't know. He's 1 of 1. I would say fastball in again.
1-2. Went breaking ball away. Sweeper he threw that time, which is a little more side-to-side moving than the curveball and a little bit harder, but he missed well outside.
I think a lot of guys, a lot of pitchers obviously are afraid to double up with fastballs in, but I think that's one of the best combinations you can do.
2-2. Fastball hit away foul.
Because I think hitters realize that a lot of pitchers are afraid to do that. And once you come in once, a hitter's thinking, okay, he's come in, he's not coming in again, so I'm going to look back out over the plate, the outer third, and then they guess right. So that's why doubling up inside is such an effective pitch.
2-2 once more. Hit on the ground to third base, past a diving Barger and into the left field corner, a base hit. Coming to third, Meisner. Stop sign put up by Brady Williams. Into second goes Jose Caballero. It's a double for the Rays shortstop, and Tampa Bay threatening again in this inning. Second and third, only 1 out.
Jose Caballero's 5th double of the season. Just barely snuck around that third base bag. Addison Barger did everything he could to knock it down, but the Rays have runners on second and third now with just 1 out in this inning.
So again, Chris Bassett looking for a strikeout. Infield is walking in. Barger is on the infield turf. Vladdy plays maybe a step behind it. Ernie Clement now walking onto the turf, and Bo Bichette with his toes on the infield turf as well. Left-handed hitter Travis Jankowski is up. 11 for 43 this season. Struck out swinging in the second. First pitch bounced over the hill to the second baseman Clement. Throw home, tag play, and they got him. Meisner going on contact, and the Gold Glove finalist last year, Ernie Clement, cuts him down. Fielder's choice hits runners on first and third, but still only 1-0 Rays with 2 outs.
And how perfect was that? Ernie Clement didn't have to go very far, fielded that ball cleanly. A little Sunday hop for him. Makes the perfect throw home. Alejandro Kirk with the tag on Meisner. A big second out in this inning.
It was impressive. Clement did not try and zip that in there as hard as he could. He had time, and he delivered it right on the money.
Does he ever try to zip it in as hard as he can?
Maybe in extreme situations.
Cool as a cucumber out there.
So an important out. It allows the infield to back up, but still a big run-scoring opportunity here for the Rays. First and third, 2 down. 1-0 Tampa Bay, and the pitch to Danny Jansen. Catcher takes inside, jumping out of the way of that fastball, 1-0. Jansen is 0 for 1 today. He hit a comebacker to Bassett in the third, but he's working on an 18-game on-base streak. Hasn't been a perfect start to the year at the plate, but he's managed to walk a fair bit. 1-0. Foul tip. 1-1. That's how Jansen's built the 18-gamer, 5th longest active on-base streak in baseball, despite only hitting .220 in that streak, with 2 extra base hits overall in those 18 games. The 1-1. Bounce back to the mound, snared by Bassett, flips it over to Guerrero, and Danny Jansen hits his second comebacker of the day. That will end the top of the 4th inning. 1 run, though, for the Rays. They come up with a pair of hits. There was 1 error in the inning, and there are 2 left on base. 1-0 Tampa Bay, middle of the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Ross Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL 3-topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Breaking 365 must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 1-0 Rays bottom for the pitch to Anthony Santander. Called his strike. 0-1. Santander, George Springer, and Dalton Varsho to hit this inning, and also we'll get to the out-of-town scoreboard after Santander bats. Next pitch is fouled back. That one is going to land near the Rays radio booth, 0-2.
We're getting peppered back here tonight.
Santander putting the media under fire. He hit one near the official scorers, actually bounced away back out of their booth, and just hit another one near us. 0-2, fouled right back into the screen. Got to hit it a little higher, Anthony, if you're going to come at us another time.
Baseball gods are looking out for us tonight, Ben.
We'll see. It's a dangerous statement. Rays just scored to take the lead on the Cameron Meisner RBI single, though it could have been a lot more in that inning. 0-2. In the dirt, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Santander 1 for 1. Hooked a ball on the ground through the right side in the first. Faces a 1-2. Swings and misses. Strike 3. With 1 out, take it away, Chris.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, 100% Canadian-owned and operated since 1992. Every Tuesday night, wings are just half price. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome.
Game 5 in the Eastern Conference semifinals between the Knicks and the Celtics now. Between the Leafs and the Panthers in Toronto. First pitch to George Springer, cut and a miss, strike 1. It's the Panthers leading right now over the Maple Leafs. That game on Sportsnet. 1-0 is the score in favor of Florida. 3-4 minutes into the second period. 0-1 to Springer. Check swing, called strike. Pitch just hit the top of the zone. Springer in discussion with Paul Clemens. It's 0-2.
I have to say, Ben, I would have bet my firstborn child that you weren't going to go Celtics-Knicks.
Yeah, I wasn't. It is tied at halftime in that game. 0-2. Swing and a fly ball left center. Tracking back Simpson. Meisner waves him off, and the center fielder makes the catch in the gap. 2 down. George Springer is one of the bigger hockey fans in the Blue Jay clubhouse. He just flied out and was talking to Ernie Clement today, and just over his shoulder, hanging in his locker, was a John Tavares Maple Leafs jersey. Was from last year. It had the C on it, but we're not going to ask him to get a new jersey every year. Pitch to Dalton Varsho with 2 outs. Inside, nearly hit him in the foot as Varsho had to leap back, and then because of his momentum, stumbled forward over the plate to make sure he didn't fall over. 1-0.
I'm surprised Ernie Clement's not a Sabres fan. I'm sure it's hard to be a Sabres fan, but he's from Rochester.
I think he is a Sabres fan.
Oh, never mind then.
But he's being supportive. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. The wind and the 1-0. Swinging a ground ball to second base. Vacuumed up Brandon Lau. Throws over to first. And a 1-2-3 inning for Ryan Pepio, who has retired 6 in a row to keep the Rays on top. 1-0 Tampa Bay. We head to the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Relive the party anthems. Line dances. And cringeworthy slow songs.
You're like a dream come true, and I don't want to miss a thing.
On Prom Radio. Find it in the SiriusXM app on your phone and at home on your computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices. Just search Prom.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody! This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Radio Network.
It's the 5th inning, brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. Thank you so much for spending your night with us. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Top of the 5th inning, 1-0 Rays, and the pitch to the top of the order hitter, Chandler Simpson, is hit on the ground is short. Bichette ranging to his left. Gloves throws immediately onto first to get the speedy Simpson. 1 pitch, 1 out for Bassett to start the 5th.
Bo Bichette got rid of that one quickly, didn't he?
He did. He did. And it's interesting, looking a little bit today, some of the defensive numbers, especially the advanced ones, we're not in love with the year so far that Bichette has had at shortstop. Just from the eye test, I feel like he's had a pretty solid year so far up the middle. First pitch to Brandon Lau, the second baseman for Tampa Bay, is outside, ball one.
I mean, he's made a couple of questionable plays out there, but I would say like you said, for the majority of the season, he's been pretty solid out there.
1-0. Swinging a liner down in right field, a base hit. Brandon Lau with his second hit of the game. He had a double in the third. He's 2 for 3, and overall against Chris Bassett in his career, he's 7 for 14, a .500 average.
Well, he was all over that sinker, and that was one of those sinkers where Chris Bassett is trying to come inside, but it just moves back over the middle of the plate, and Brandon Lau basically was just sitting on that pitch and hammered it to right field.
So 1 on, 1 out, Junior Caminero to hit. The pitch. Called a strike. Third season that Caminero has at least appeared in the major leagues. He actually debuted in Toronto in September of 2023. Played 7 games that year. 0-1 is inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. He had a walk and a hit in his first 2 career plate appearances on September 23rd, 2023 against Hyunjin Ryu. One pitch. Caminero takes outside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
And keep in mind, Junior Caminero is just 21 years old.
Yep.
He is a kid out there.
That's why he has good, not great offensive numbers, but when you think about how young he is, that's really impressive. The 2-1. Fouled off to the right, 2-2.
He was in the big leagues in 2023.
He was 19.
At 19 years old. Most 19-year-olds are in rookie ball, freshmen in college, and this guy's in the big leagues. How about that?
It's really impressive.
There's 19-year-olds in high school still. If they get held back a year.
Yeah, or you go to like a prep school for a 5th year.
Wow.
More common in the U.S., but it happens everywhere. 2-2. High, ball 3. And Junior Caminero is in the big leagues, playing third and hitting third pretty much every day for the Tampa Bay Rays. Lau leading off first, 1 out. 1-0 Tampa Bay. And the pitch. Swing and a miss, he got him. Snap throw back to first by Kirk. Dive back in by Lau. It was close. See if the Blue Jays want to look at it. They already have a successful challenge today, and at least John Schneider's going to peek behind him to DeMarlo Hale, who's on the phone right now. And they're going to let that one run. So a strikeout there for Chris Bassett. It's his 4th K of the day. Lau still safe at first, and with 2 outs, here comes Jonathan Aranda.
How about Alejandro Kirk just showing off that arm again? You know, I don't love the back pick there. The risk usually doesn't. I don't know. I just don't love the risk. It's so high risk. The reward really isn't all that great.
On a huge shame for the Blue Jays, when a back pick worked for them yesterday, a dropped ball on a tag ended up costing them a run. Pitch to Jonathan Aranda is hooked foul on the ground, 0-1.
And the reason why I say that is pretty often, actually, the catcher will throw it away. The first baseman's not ready for it. And that guy at first base probably ends up at third base if that throw gets away from the first baseman.
The 0-1. Hit on the ground to second. Backhanded Clement flips it the short way to Bo Bichette at second base to end the inning. No runs on a hit, 1 left for Tampa Bay. Middle of the 5th, 1-0 for the Rays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The drama builds. Baseball's in full swing. This ball's gone! Hear every MLB game on SiriusXM.
And they'll be talking about this one for a long, long time.
Listen to your favorite team all season long with your hometown announcers on the SiriusXM app.
A breathtaking home run by Aaron Judge.
For a complete MLB schedule, go to SiriusXM.com/sports.
What a night.
What's up, baseball fans, Blue Jays fans from all over the world? Thank you for hanging out with us. Man, our Jays they just keep playing tricks with us, don't they? First thing, we're getting 3 straight wins against Seattle. Life's going good. And then, boom, right back down to earth against the Rays last night, losing that tough one at the end of the game. 2, that has just been happening way too consistently for this team with the amount of talent that we have. But we appreciate you being here. Let's get a victory tonight. We need you to cheer on our boys loud. We need you to cheer on Vladdy and Bo and George and the rest of our Blue Jays so that they can please get a win here tonight over the AL East rival, the Devil Rays. Now, big things, get the YouTube stuff out of the way. Please help us bring more Blue Jays fans to this awesome Toronto sports community by hitting the like button, sharing this link out to your baseball friends, and if not, hockey friends, Leafs, we're live for that right now as well. Game 5, TFC, live for that as well. You get the point. Thank you for being here. Don't forget our SickKids Hospital Playoff Pulse campaign logo is up there as well. We'll see you back in the chat.
Schulman alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host and producer, Tom Young and Derek Brandeo, technical directors. 1-0 pitch up and in, 2 balls, no strikes. For Ryan Pepiot, he just threw his 50th pitch of the game. He's in the 5th inning. Averaged 12 pitches per frame through the first 4. 2-0. Called a strike, 2-1.
Bassett's at 81. I know he's through the 5th inning, but 31 pitch difference.
And Bassett's isn't horribly inefficient, but Pepiot is having the kind of pitch count that could carry you to a complete game. 2-1. Swing and a line drive, right center field, sinking and down in the gap, a base hit. Cut off before the track by Travis Jankowski, so it goes as a long single to lead off the inning for Alejandro Kirk. First hit for the Blue Jays since the 1st inning. Called a strike. Barger 0 for 1 today, strikeout looking in the 2nd. 0-1 pitch. Checks his swing on a pitch outside, 1-1. Quickly peek at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. Dmitry Kulikov's slap shot tipped in accidentally into the leaf net by Scott Lawton. It's 2-0 for the Panthers over the Leafs in the 2nd period. 1-1 to Barger. Foul back, 1-2. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Barring something big in this at-bat, we'll go over to a couple baseball scores after Barger's at-bat is over. The 1-2. Check swing, pitch was low. It was the changeup. Pepiot wants an appeal to third. Jansen seems less convinced, and so they don't point down there. It's 2-2.
That Pepiot changeup almost looks like a split finger. It has that really violent action at the end.
2-2. Fouled out of the glove of Danny Jansen. It popped in and out of the catcher's mitt. So Barger gets another life.
Danny Jansen's glove actually came off. Trying to catch that baseball. It was hanging off of his wrist. I don't know if it's attached, but oh, maybe he has a thumb guard stuck in there. That's what it is. But his glove came off.
Jansen sets up away. The 2-2 again. Just outside on a check swing by Barger. That pitch probably could have gone either way. It's called a ball. It's a full count.
This is a big pitch right here for Pepiot. You don't want to lose Barger and have runners on 1st and 2nd with nobody out.
10 pitches in this inning for Pepiot. Kirk on first, no outs. Clement on deck. The 3-2 to Barger. Swing and a deep drive. Right field. If it's fair, it's gone, but that's hooking foul off the front face of the 2nd deck. Maybe 20 feet wide of the foul pole. Still a 3-2 count.
Guess what? Addison Barger knew it was a big pitch for Pepiot as well. He knew he was going to throw something in the strike zone, and he was ready for that four-seam fastball right down the middle.
Another 3-2. And another foul ball. This one hits straight back on a slider that was left at the top of the zone. An 8-pitch battle Barger against Pepio. 4 foul balls for Barger in this at-bat. 3-2 again. Swing and a bouncing ball up the middle. Snared Caballero. Flips to Caminero for 1, and that's the only out they'll get. On an awkward play up the middle due to the defensive alignment, the shortstop flipped to the third baseman, covering second to get Alejandro Kirk. Barger replaces Kirk at first base after a fielder's choice. One down, Ernie Clement up to the plate. Reached on an error in the third inning. Had a nice day yesterday, including his first home run of the year. First pitch is popped up, foul back behind the plate. 0-1.
And how many times this season have we seen Ernie Clement go the other way? A lot like Alejandro Kirk, where he shoots that big hole on the right side. Brandon Lau is basically giving it to him. He's almost playing behind second base. Jonathan Aranda is holding on Addison Barger at first base.
0-1. Swing and a liner looped over the shortstop. Caballero down in left field. Barger stops at second. Getting it back in quickly is Chandler Simpson. It's first and second with 1 out.
I'll take that one, though. Ernie Clement not trying to do too much. Just filleting that curveball from Pepio off the end of the bat. Just dumping it in front of Chandler Simpson in left field.
It's about a 30-yard shot to the green for Ernie Clement. Just reached down with the sand wedge. Got enough loft on it to get it where he needed to go. 2 on here for Jonathan Clase. Third baseman Caminero plays in the pitch. Call to strike. Unlikely to see a sacrifice here from Clase if he's going to show a bunt, because there is 1 out already. But there's always the chance that he tries to bunt for a hit. A look at second by Pepio. Righty kicks and offers. Swing and a foul back. Straight back into the screen on the high slider. 0-2.
If Clase maybe try a drag bunt here, he would be safe at first base pretty easily. Jonathan Aranda is playing way back. Brandon Lau is playing way back.
Only issue now is there's already 2
not
strikes.
now.
But
now.
I get
but
what
I'm
you're
saying at some point during this at bat.
0-2. Called strike 3. 96 on the outer third. And it's a 5th strikeout today for Pepio. 2nd out of the inning.
And you have to be ready for that pitch. You have to shorten up and at least try to foul that baseball off. I know that Jonathan Clase was probably fooled by that 4-seam fastball, but that thing was almost right down the middle. You have to at least try to foul that baseball off and stay alive.
First and second, 2 down. Bo Bichette checks his swing on a first pitch down and away. Ball 1. 1-0 for the Rays. Bo Bichette's 0 for 2 today. Leads the team with 21 RBIs. The 1-0 pitch. Swing and a ground ball to third base. Caminero backhands, goes to the bag, and ends the inning. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left for the Blue Jays. 1-0 Tampa Bay. We're headed to the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Centre. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Timber Mart is Canada's Building Centre. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Find your location at timbermart.ca.
It's time to kickstart spring at TSC. Discover top brands to live it up outdoors. Shop gardening tools, patio lights, furniture, and more. And split purchases into 6 interest-free easy pay payments. We got what you need to get your green thumbs going. Light up your nights. Have some fun. Go on a camping adventure with Coleman. Crank up your playlist with Bose. And show everyone why you're the grill master with Weber. Make the most of spring. Shop now at tsc.ca. Exciting offers every day.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Bichette powers the ball to left field. Going back, Peralta. It's out of here.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Christopher Morel digs into the righty batter's box as Chris Bassett deals home to start the 6th inning. Bassett misses outside. Ball 1. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Close ball game, 1-0 for the Rays over the Blue Jays. Complete opposite of what we saw yesterday when the Rays took the opener 11-9. 1-0. Hooked foul on the ground, 1-1.
Game's not over yet, Ben.
That's true.
There was a lot of scoring later on in the ball game yesterday.
There was a total of 12 runs from the 7th to the 9th. 13 if you want to start in the 6th. 1-1 pitch. Morel takes outside, 2-1. First full year with the Rays for the DH and right-handed hitter Christopher Morel, whose career seems to have changed drastically in the span of about 2 years, maybe even less than that, about a year and a half. 2-1. Swing and a miss. Big hack there, 2-2. You go back to 2023, which was only the second year in the big leagues for Morel. At 24 years old, he hit .247 with 26 homers in under 110 games for the Chicago Cubs. 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Morel goes down swinging for his 46th strikeout of the year. You look back at that point in time, Christopher Morel is part of probably the next wave for the Cubs. He's playing a little utility, but clearly, if a guy can hit .250 at 24 years old with 26 homers, you're going to find a spot for him. And it's really gotten a little bit down for him since then. Pitch to Cameron Meisner. Hit back foul, 0-1.
As a 22-year-old, he hit 16 homers and had 47 RBIs. I mean, if I was 22 years old and I had numbers like that in the big leagues, I mean, I'm pretty excited. Right? So, like you said, things haven't gone according to plan for Christopher Morel.
0-1. Bounce to the plate, 1 ball, 1 strike. The 6th inning, by the way, brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Insurance that's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. 2024, he starts the year with the Cubs, Morel, who was just retired, but he hit below 200. Traded at the deadline in the Isak Paredes deal. Continued to hit below 200 with the Rays. The 1-1. Swing and a foul off to the left, 1-2. And while Morel has hit for a better average to start this year, some of the slug has gone away, which was really what was carrying his offense when he wasn't hitting for average, and he just hasn't been able since 2023 to have the average going solid with that big slug that he showed early in his career. 1-2. Cut on and missed by Cameron Meisner. That's back-to-back punch-outs to start the inning for Bassett. 2 quick outs.
And there's that slow breaking ball that he's been just commanding so well tonight. 70 miles an hour below the strike zone. Cameron Meisner was way out in front of it.
6 Ks overall today for Chris Bassett, who just threw his 90th pitch of the day. 1-0 Rays. 2 out, spaces empty, top of the 6th. And the offering to Jose Caballero. Outside, it rolls to the backstop, off the glove of Alejandro Kirk. 1-0. Blue Jays preparing to start the bullpen as Brendan Little just got up, and it looks like he's thrown out and left. The wind and the 1-0. Curve inside, just didn't have enough on it to break back over the plate. 2-0. Quickly go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. It's 3-0 for the Panthers over the Maple Leafs. Second half of the second period going on right now in Toronto at Scotiabank Arena. 2-0. Fouled off by Caballero. 2-1. I did promise earlier some baseball scores, and this is a baseball game that we're at right now. So, around the American League, some finals already. The Yankees even up the series, or pardon me, actually taking advantage in the series over Seattle. 3-2, the final score in that one in favor of New York, who scored once in the 6th, once in the 7th, once in the 8th to overcome a 2-0 deficit. 2-1 to Caballero, called a strike. It's 2-2. And then the Orioles, still struggling to find it, got swept in a doubleheader today against the Twins, including Game 2 where they led 6-5 going into the 8th. Cody Clemens hit a go-ahead 3-run homer that ended up winning the game for the Twins. 2-2. Caballero takes down and away, full count. Orioles sunk to 15-26 after that loss. They are as far away from the 4th place Rays as the Blue Jays are from the 1st place Yankees.
Okay, back to hockey scores now.
Got a full count pitch here, and then maybe. 2 outs, the 3-2 from Bassett. And he misfired behind the back of Caballero for a walk. You just want to remind me it's 3-0? Nothing's happened in that game. I heard that Brendan Gallagher and the Canadiens shot a 4/76 today. What a day for the Montreal Canadiens.
In Cancun.
And their fans. Look, great. Fantastic. His wedge game, incredible. Chris Bassett, though, completely missed on that last pitch, and I think that that's going to be the end of what's been a really solid day for the Blue Jays right-hander. A bounce-back day after a couple up-and-down starts. He gets fist pumps from his entire infield and a well-deserved applause from the Blue Jays fans as John Schneider takes the ball for a pitching change. Brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. As Brendan Little prepares to enter, let's go over to today's host. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Let's check in on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, and we'll continue with hockey and the Stanley Cup playoffs. The second round well underway. Last night, just the one game, Jeff Blair's Winnipeg Jets got thumped 3-1 by the Stars. Dallas now taking a 3-1 series lead. They are just one win away from the Western Conference Finals. Tonight, 2 games, of course. The Leafs in action in Game 5. This series is tied at 2 games apiece entering play. And Ben just told you it's 3-0. It is 4-0 Florida after yet another Panthers goal with about 6 minutes to go in the second period. If you want, I suppose, you can watch this game on Sportsnet and the CBC. And afterwards, win or lose, we'll get Leafs talk with JD Bunkus, Sam McKee, and Justin Bourne. The guys will be on the radio, Sportsnet Plus, and Sportsnet's YouTube page. We will join them after the conclusion of Jays Talk. The late game features another Canadian team, the Edmonton Oilers, leading the Vegas Golden Knights 3-1 in their second round series. Puck drop for Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl goes just after 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on Sportsnet and the CBC as well. Some NHL updates outside of the playoffs. A few teams making some coaching moves. First, in Vancouver, the Canucks hiring Adam Foote to be their new head coach, the 22nd head coach in franchise history. And we'll go from Vancouver to Philly. We'll follow Rick Tocchet as he goes from Vancouver to Philly. He has been named the new head coach of the Flyers. Tocchet, the 25th head coach in Flyers franchise history. Blue Jays baseball, as always, brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Brendan Little just wrapping up his warm-up pitches from Rogers Center in downtown Toronto, where the Blue Jays trail the Rays 1-0. Nobody on, or pardon me, runner on first, top of the 6th. For Little, his 21st appearance of the season. In 18 previous innings, he's allowed only 4 earned runs, walking 9 and striking out a whopping 28 hitters. He'll go left on left with the outfielder Travis Jankowski. And Little's going to throw over to first to check on the speedy Caballero, who gets back in standing up.
And you can bet that Caballero is probably going to take off at some point during this at-bat, try to get into scoring position with 2 outs in this inning.
Little offers home and hits the zone with a first pitch sinker to get ahead 0-1.
Little's been really good. In his last outing on May 9th against Seattle, he went 1 2/3, gave up a hit, but struck out 3. He's striking out everybody.
It's unbelievable. He has doubled essentially his strikeout rate from 7 per 9, 7.1 to be exact, to 14 per 9. 0-1 pitch. Called to strike, 0-2.
And that's the guy you want in your bullpen. Seriously. I mean, 14 strikeouts per 9 is crazy.
Sinker, cutter, curve for Little. 2 sinkers so far. His 0-2. Bounce the curveball. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's a good block by Alejandro Kirk back there. keeping that runner at first base.
It feels like with Brendan Little, as long as he doesn't do that, basically, if he gets his curveball anywhere close to the zone, guys swing at it all the time. And they rarely hit it. 1-2. Bounce the curveball again. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think the key to Brendan Little's curveball, really is his sinker as well, is just making it look like a strike out of the hand, so the hitter thinks that it's going to be in the strike zone, and then it just moves all over the place. It could be out of the strike zone, obviously, when it crosses the plate, but if it looks like a strike out of the hand, guys are swinging at it.
2-2. Chopped to first base, charging in. Vlad picks it up, turns back, steps on the bag, and ends the inning. No runs for the Mariners, 1 left after the 2-out walk, middle of the 6th. It's 1-0 for the Rays over the Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Stay plugged in to the pulse of pop culture on the SiriusXM app. From exclusive interviews with today's biggest celebrities,
Demi Moore.
That's Lizzo.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Snoop Dogg.
You know
how much I love you, Andy. To unfiltered takes on what's trending from hosts like Alex Cooper and Andy Cohen.
What is up, Daddy Gang?
Hey, everybody. We are live. Plus, daily reality TV recaps, star-studded podcasts, and more.
Salma Hayek. Only Kelly Ripa can ask me these questions.
Keep up with all the latest entertainment buzz in one place. Just search pop culture in the SiriusXM app.
While you're listening to this game on SiriusXM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, SiriusXM, Channel 159.
I'm John Palmarosi, host of the SiriusXM original podcast, The Road to Cooperstown. Hear our conversations with Hall of Famers about the challenges they overcame on the journey to baseball immortality.
It is a hard game, and mentally it's hard.
I used to go to bed crying. They pretty much knew I was going to have lung surgery after the season. I wasn't for sure. Would I ever play baseball again?
The Road to Cooperstown is the official podcast of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Episodes are available now on the SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Alexa. Did you know you can listen to this game on devices with Amazon Alexa? Download the SiriusXM app, then tell me to play the Blue Jays on SiriusXM.
Sportsnet Radio Network. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Show Ali, our host and producer, Tom Young and Derek Brandeo, our technical directors. 1-0 Rays. Bottom 6 starts with a foul tip by Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Pepio ahead of him, 0-1. Time to get going is now for the Blue Jays, who have been so good offensively recently, but today, 3 hits or make it 4 hits overall. Vladdy now hooks the ball on the ground at third base, fielded foul by Caminero. Through over to first base anyway, but it's 0-2.
Well, you got to give some credit to Ryan Pepio. He's been very good, and we talked about that fastball changeup combination before the ball game, but I mean, his changeup has a ton of life to it, a lot of vertical drop, and then that fastball, like I said, a lot of angle, 95, 97 miles an hour, so tough to square up, and he's doing exactly that tonight.
Just for context, the Blue Jays, they have scored 38 runs over the last 5 games, an average of near 7.5. 0-2. High, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bad. Double-digit hits in all of those games. They've scored at least 6 in all of those games. There was some regression probably due. 1-2 pitch in the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and they run into a guy like Ryan Pepio, who's really hot right now. Has attacked them, been ahead of them all night. 72 pitches for Pepio, 50 of them strikes. He shrugs his shoulders, steps to the left, twists and offers. 2-2 is hit foul by Vlad, who's putting together a nice plate appearance here to start the bottom of the 6th.
That was a hard swing from Vlad right there. His helmet went flying. He's picking it up right now, dusting it off. He was all over that breaking ball from Pepio.
Another 2-2. Outside ball 3. Here's some frustration.
Pepe furious with himself after that pitch. You could tell he was trying to overthrow it, really trying to muscle that pitch across the plate. And he ended up missing by about 3 balls outside.
Now is 3-2. Inside ball 4. He turns away in frustration again, slamming his glove off of his left thigh. It's a leadoff walk.
Well, that's what you don't want to do when your team's ahead by 1 run. Walk the leadoff guy, especially with Anthony Santander coming to the plate right now.
Santander with a hit and a strikeout today. Danny Jansen's going to go out to the mound and talk to Pepio, so we can go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. One AL East game outside of this that's still going on right now is the Boston Red Sox and the Detroit Tigers. It took a heroic 6 RBI day from Javier Baez for the Tigers to defeat the Red Sox in extra innings yesterday, and it's looking like another really good game in the series. 5-5 is the score right now. Boston and Detroit in the 7th. A 3-run bottom of the 6th by the Tigers was answered by a 3-run top of the 7th from the Red Sox. Pitch to Santander now is popped up, foul, left side over the third base dugout. It will bounce off the dugout right into the chest of a fan who picks it up. 0-1.
How about Javi Baez? Has he actually turned it around, or is this just a little bit of a hot streak that he's going through?
He is hitting .311 with a .500 slug.
Not bad.
Not bad. He had a .500 OPS last year. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Vladdy taking his lead behind the first baseman Jonathan Aranda. 1-0 race, no outs, bottom of the 6th. Right on left, the pitch. Swing and a miss. Beat him with 95 on the outer third, 1-2.
A huge swing from Anthony Santander. You could tell he was trying to take the lead with 1 swing, just missed it.
All 5 of Santander's home runs this year have come from the left side where he hits right now. He's tied with George Springer and Dalton Varsho for the team lead in long balls. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, 96 top of the zone. And for Pepio, it's strikeout number 6.
It's almost like that 4-seamer from Pepio it just rises as it hits the dirt. It just sneaks past a hitter, sneaks past Anthony Santander. They're at the top of the strike zone for out number 1.
Nice bounce back out for Pepio's first pitch to George Springer runs way up and in. It was a miss on a slider there. Springer got out of the way of the pitch, and to have an extra moment to regroup, Paul Clemens will dust off home plate. George Springer 0 for 2 today, but overall has had the best season of any Blue Jays batter. Guerrero on first, 1 out, the pitch. Swing and a miss. Even as the batting average has dipped a little bit for George Springer, which was to be expected. He probably wasn't going to hit .360 all year. He's maintained his production other ways. Takes the 1-1 inside, 2-1. Still, a lot of the extra base power, including a massive 3-run home run in Seattle in the finale. And he's come up with 9 hits and 9 walks in 10 games in May. 2-1 pitch. Called a strike. Springer doesn't like it. Looked like a 50-50 call, to be honest. Could have gone either way. 2-2.
He's having a heated conversation right now with home plate umpire Paul Clemens. I mean, it wasn't that bad of a pitch. It was a pitcher's pitch, but it wasn't that bad.
Guerrero takes 3 steps off first base. Pepio set, looking over his left shoulder. The 2-2. Called strike 3. At the bottom of the zone again with his slider. He goes back to the same spot and freezes Springer for the second out of the inning.
And a lot like Jonathan Clase in his last at-bat, you have to at least try to foul that ball off. I know that George Springer was fooled by that slider there, and I know it's a tough pitch, but you have to shorten up and just try to foul that pitch off and stay alive, especially with that guy standing at first base.
So 2 down, pitch to Dalton Varsho, called strike. Vlad Guerrero Jr. had the leadoff walk, and the Blue Jays have struck out twice since, not moving Vlad from first. 0-1. Swinging a ground ball through the right side, a base hit for Varsho. Guerrero trying to go first to third, and he'll get in there easily as the throw bounces back into the shortstop Caballero. It's a base hit for Varsho. It's runners on the corners for the Blue Jays with 2 outs.
And that was actually a small hole on the right side of that infield. Brandon Lau was shaded towards that first base bag, the second baseman, and Dalton Varsho was able to sneak it through. Runners at first and third now with 2 outs in this inning. A big spot for Alejandro Kirk.
Alejandro Kirk 1 for 2 today after a 5 for 7 performance in the Seattle series. Has the entire right side to work with of the infield. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 1.
Didn't look like he was trying to go to the right side there. He was trying to get a little 3-run Jimmy.
Looked like he was trying to go to Park Social in the 500 level left field. Kirk batting .289 now on the year after the hit today. High 600s OPS. First and third, 2 down. Step off, throw to first. Varsho back in standing up, and Vladdy taking a couple aggressive steps to the plate, trying to draw the attention of the first baseman, Aranda. Pepio has the ball back. Now sets at the bell. 0-1. Foul back into the screen. 95 center cut. It's 0-2.
He was all over that pitch. A little four-seamer right down the middle. Just fouled it back.
Pepio brings the hat up off of his head for a moment, wipes some sweat off his forehead. Now pushing his long dark hair behind his ears. He steps back onto the top of the hill, kicking out some dirt from the rubber. Takes a breath, looks into the plate, now sets. First and third, 2 down. 1-0 race. The 0-2. Swing and a fly ball. Right center field. Meisner back at the track. Turns around. See you later. Big fly. Alejandro Kirk. And the Blue Jays jump in front 3-1.
You don't see Alejandro Kirk stand in a batter's box and watch a home run, but he did it right there. What a cool feeling for him. And a gigantic home run for this Blue Jays team.
Just a fastball left over the middle of the plate, right down Broadway. Pepio got away with one of those in the earlier portion of the at-bat. Kirk fouled it back, but he wasn't going to miss it a second time. His 3rd home run of the year.
When was the last time you saw Alejandro Kirk pimp a home run like that?
Maybe never.
Never.
Maybe never. Pitch to Addison Barger. Bounce to the plate, ball 1. How often does Alejandro Kirk hit a home run like that? Cleared the highest part of the wall to the opposite field in right center. One-0 to Barger. Swing and a foul back. Bounces off the front face of the 500 level. Tumbles back down onto the concrete rows in between the seats. And it'll go into the first row. It's 1-1. The wind in the next pitch. Bounce back to the mound. Nice play, Pepio. Reached the left arm out and just snatched it. Frustratingly threw it over to first to end the inning. He's frustrated because the Blue Jays end up with 3 runs on 2 hits. It's the Alejandro Kirk 3-run homer that has the Blue Jays on top for the first time today. 3-1 is the score as we go to the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Are you ready for some football? On Wednesday, May 21st, gear up for football season with the George Springer Replica Football Jersey Giveaway presented by TD. Rush to the ballpark because this giveaway is available to the first 15,000 fans at Rogers Center. It's Wednesday night. Lights up. Let's go. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Of all the things that Timber Mart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the Timber Mart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as Timber Mart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
Saturday, May 17th at Rogers Center is Barbie Game Day. Like Barbie, you can be anything. Just be sure to be at Rogers Center on Saturday, May 17th for Barbie Game Day. Be one of the first 15,000 fans to get your Blue Jays Barbie Hawaiian shirt giveaway. For tickets, visit bluejays.com.
Hey, this is Dalton Varsho. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the seventh, and the Blue Jays leading 3-1 is the score over the Tampa Bay Rays as Brandon Little throws to Danny Jansen, and Little hits the zone with a breaking ball. 0-1. Lefty Brendan Little out for his second inning of work, got a ground out to first base to end the sixth. Left on right, he offers to the Rays catcher. Check swing, pitch downstairs, appeal to first. He did go, says Adrian Johnson. It's 0-2. Roof closed, but still the customary eye black on for Danny Jansen. Gob on the right side of his lower lip. Jansen looks out to Little, and the 2-strike pitch. Way outside and high, ball 1. 3-run lead because the Blue Jay catcher Alejandro Kirk came up with a 3-run homer. Now the Blue Jays with action in the pen. Yariel Rodriguez heating up. Close set for Little. Twists back, the 1-2. Swinging a fly ball deep right. Going back, Springer at the edge of the warning track. He stutter steps and makes the catch. 1 out.
That was a scary one. I thought Danny Jansen might have got that, especially from the reaction of George Springer. He was sprinting back towards that right field fence, put the brakes on and caught it right against that warning track. Big first out.
So 1 down, and now a left-on-left matchup for the southpaw Brendan Little. It's Chandler Simpson, the top of the order hitter, who's 1 for 3 with an infield single. Corners way in. Barger a couple feet onto the turf. First pitch right down the middle. Strike 1. This 7th inning brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Great curveball, gets the whiff from Simpson. It's 0-2.
Just throw another one of those. That thing was nasty.
0-2. Chopped high to first base. Guerrero leaps, and it's off the top of his glove, and Simpson's safe at first.
Is he trying to do that? Is Chandler Simpson trying to chop down and create that high chop so he can safely beat out the throw to first base? He's done it twice in this ball game.
It's possible. I don't think he beats that one out if it's fielded cleanly, but Guerrero charged a little bit, maybe too much, a step or two, and so he had to leap for it. Couldn't bring it in cleanly, and now the dangerous Simpson on first. First pitch to Brandon Lau, I should say, is cut on and missed. Strike 1.
And you could see the frustration after Vladimir Guerrero Jr. dropped that high popper, or that high chopper, screaming at himself.
0-1. Lau takes it for a strike, 0-2. They did charge Guerrero with an error on the play. It's the Blue Jays' second error today. Runner on first, 3-1 Toronto. 1 out top of the 7th, and Lau asks for time. On the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, that Red Sox-Tigers game still tied at 5, but the Red Sox have 2 aboard in the top of the 9th. In Toronto, again, 3-1 Blue Jays, and the 0-2. Bounce to the plate, good block by Kirk. Puts his mid over top of the ball to trap it to the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Other out-of-town scores, 10-7 Cardinals over Phillies in Philadelphia, 4-0 White Sox over Reds in Cincinnati. It's 3-1 for the Marlins over the Cubs in Chicago. 4-1 Braves over the Nationals in Atlanta. 4-0 Pirates over Mets. That one in Queens. Next pitch to Lau, bounces to the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And in fact, just to circle back briefly, that Cincinnati game honoring Pete Rose today. After Rose was reinstated, and it's the 14th. A lot of odes to number 14 today involved in that Reds game. And also kind of fitting, they play the White Sox, and that was the matchup in 1919 with the Black Sox scandal. And Shoeless Joe and a bunch of other Black Sox have now been removed from the ineligible list as well. Little steps over, throws to first, and getting back in safely quite easily is Chandler Simpson. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, top of the 7th. Out of town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill in Toronto. It's 3-1 Blue Jays. Little's pitch. Hooked on the ground, foul right side, still 2-2.
Was Shoeless Joe Jackson in Field of Dreams? Obviously not.
They're all, well, yeah.
The whole Black Sox scandal was in that movie.
Yeah. Shoeless Joe walks out of the cornfields without any shoes. 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Curve in the dirt. Brendan Little gets the chase from Brandon Lau, and there are 2 outs.
Another big pitch from Brendan Little. Just a curveball. Again, it looks like a strike. So the hitters have to offer at it. They think it's a fastball, and then it just dives below the strike zone. He is incredible.
It bounced after the plate. It feels like as long as it doesn't bounce before the plate, he's in business.
Or in the grass.
Well, yes.
We've seen that this year as well.
That is definitely before the plate. Pitch to Junior Caminero. Called a strike on a curve that might have missed a little low. Caminero looked shocked.
I hear you.
And Paul Clemens and Kevin Cash with a little back and forth. It's 0-1. Clemens peeks over once more, but the game resuming as Little offers. Outside, 1-1.
And Kevin Cash probably has the best view of that strike zone, at least the height of the strike zone. Didn't like that one below the strike zone to Caminero.
Caminero, the tying run in the game. 3-1 Blue Jays. 2 outs, runner on first. Top of the 7th. Little kicks and deals. Swing and a miss. Bounce the curve near his back foot. It's 1-2.
It's really tough to get good major league hitters to swing like that. And Brendan Little does it almost every outing.
He gets more swing and miss than anyone in baseball. He's the only guy in the majors who, when batters swing, they're more likely to miss than hit the ball. They swing and miss 54% of the time.
I'm not even talking about swings and misses. I'm talking about foolish swings and misses, awkward swings and misses.
The 1-2. Outside, 2-2.
I don't know if there's a stat for that.
There's a stat called swords, which is kind of ugly swings. I'd have to look.
There's a stat for everything.
Yeah, but he gets a lot of whiffs, and a lot of them look quite ugly. 2 outs, runner on. The 2-2. Swing and a chopper, foul. Little punched out 36 and almost 46 innings last year. He's already struck out 29 this year, and he hasn't even reached the 20-inning mark. 2-2 again. In the dirt. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
I'm sure a lot of teams in the scouting report now to their offense are saying, hey, see this guy up. If the ball is not at the top of the strike zone, don't even swing at it. Because the chances are it's going to drop below the strike zone if it starts at the bottom of that strike zone.
Runner will be off on the pitch. The 3-2 is hit on the ground as shortstop. Backhanded chest high by Bo Bichette. Long throw to first. Right on the money to get Junior Caminero. And end the inning. Scoreless frame for Little around the error. He strands 1 base runner. And at the 7th inning stretch in Toronto, it's 3-1 Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart. Locally owned, proudly Canadian. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Centre. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Guess who just bundled their home and auto with Desjardins Insurance?
Well, look at you, all grown up and saving money.
Yes, I am.
Mom told you to do it, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Switch and you could save up to 35% on home insurance when you bundle home and auto. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Eighth punch out for Easton Lucas.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 3-1, the Blue Jays lead the Rays as we go to the bottom of the seventh. Kevin Cash has called on a new pitcher. It's Pitch and Change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. New pitcher is the right-hander Eric Orsi. Some defensive changes as well that we'll get to in just a moment. But first, Orsi, the right-hander, walking up to the top of the hill. He's got a 1.26 ERA this year. Righty is pitching for the 12th time this season. He's thrown 14 1/3 innings, allowed only 2 earned runs. His pitch to Ernie Clement. Swing and a fly ball out to center field. Cameron Meisner moving toward right center. Makes the catch. 1 out.
Orsi doesn't have a ton of big league experience, just 16 innings pitched total, 14 1/3 this season, but he's having a great year so far. 11 games, like you said, a 1.26 ERA, 9 strikeouts in those 14 1/3 innings.
He's the rare pitch to contact ground ball reliever. 1 out, his pitch to Jonathan Clase. High and outside, ball 1.
If I was a GM putting together a bullpen, especially in today's baseball, I don't want to pitch to contact reliever.
Most GMs would agree. They're looking for strikeout guys as Orsi forces a ground ball to first base. Picked up there by Aranda, flips back to Orsi, and there are 2 down.
But it seems to be working for him.
Part of the reason why is he's really forcing a lot of contact on the ground. The right-hander is getting almost 60% ground balls when batters make contact, and most of the time ground balls turn into outs, and that's been the case for Orsi. Traded over from the Mets this past offseason for Jose Siri. He did begin the year in AAA, but was recalled in mid-April. His pitch to Bo Bichette is drilled out to right center field. On the run, Cameron Meisner makes the call and the catch to end the inning. 1-2-3, just like that for Eric Orsi, and we go to the 8th. Blue Jays 3, Rays 1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing!
Live in the moment.
Rory McIlroy on his knees. He's won the Masters.
With live sports on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
Let the games begin. On SiriusXM, you get all the sports play-by-play you want and all the live sports talk you need. It's always a home game when you listen to the NFL, NHL, NBA, and MLB on the SiriusXM app.
How good is that?
We fuel your fandom with NASCAR, the biggest college games, PGA, and soccer. And when news breaks, hear instant reaction.
We got a big developing story out of Cincinnati.
The SiriusXM app. Everything a sports fan needs, all in one place.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
A Sportsnet Radio Network.
Pitching change for the Blue Jays as we head to the 8th inning at Rogers Center. The pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 3-1 Toronto over Tampa Bay, game 2 of the series. And in the 8th inning, protecting a 2-run lead, John Schneider goes to the right-hander from Cuba, Yariel Rodriguez.
And he's been pretty good over his last few outings. A couple of outings ago, May 8th against the LA Angels, he went 2 innings, gave up a hit, and struck out 5.
Rodriguez with a 4.26 ERA in 19 innings this year. He's going to get the middle third of the Rays order. Aranda, Morel, Meisner scheduled to hit. Rodriguez rocks and offers. First pitch fouled off. Meant to mention in the bottom of the 7th inning, some of the substitutions for the Rays. They brought Taylor Walls in and took Travis Jankowski out of the game. Walls went into short. Caballero bumped from short to right. So they've used one of their 4 guys off the bench. 0-1. High, 1 ball, 1 strike. They do still have Ben Rortvedt, Coco Montes, and Curtis Mead available. Walls slots in batting 8th, so he'd be due up 5th this inning. Rodriguez sets 3-1 Blue Jays. No outs, top of the 8th. And the 1-1. Fouled back. Good fastball, or pardon me, that was the splitter. Aranda just got under it. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He's gotten over, I think, the biggest hurdle of this outing so far is just throw strike 1. Fill up that strike zone. You're up by 2. There's nobody on base. There's no reason to worry right now. Throw strikes.
We last saw Rodriguez in the series sweeping victory on Sunday over Seattle. He kicks and offers, and that ball is hit foul just off to the right. In that outing, he went an inning and a third. No hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. I thought his split finger, which he just threw again, looked about as good in that last outing as it's looked all year. And he just got Aranda to swing at a ball that almost bounced, but somehow Aranda got a piece of it. 1-2 again. Outside with a heater. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, there's been a lot of times when he's struggled, really in his big league career, he pushes the split finger as opposed to getting on top of it. And I think that you've seen, at least over the last couple of outings, him getting on top of that split finger. Then you see the good action.
2-2. Line foul off to the right. Through the slider on the inner half. And that one was a screamer into the Rays dugout. But that ball settles up at the bottom of the far end staircase. Luckily, everyone's all right.
And on top of that, he's just throwing strikes. He's
right.
Found the release point. I think that's part of the problem as well.
2-2. Foul back into the netting. As this battle continues, we'll go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. 5-5 in Detroit between the Tigers and the Red Sox. And it looks like right now the Tigers have Andy Ibanez on third, nobody out, 90 feet away from walking off the Red Sox for a second straight day. Another 2-2. And another foul ball from Aranda, who is really making Rodriguez work to start this 8th.
Jonathan Aranda is putting up a battle fouled off some tough pitches in this at-bat. Yariel Rodriguez seems to be throwing some decent stuff up there. The fastball is up to 97 miles an hour.
Four-seamer sinker, slider, splitter. 2-2 once more is line foul into the seats off to the left. Nice catch on the fly from a young fan with a glove. And it's still 2-2.
If you have a glove, you're cheating.
It's a kid, Chris.
Oh, it's a kid. Never mind. I apologize.
He was doing great. Hesitation and a 2-2 is outside, ball 3. Oliver out of town scores again, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 3-1 Blue Jays, top of the 8th. 10 pitches to start off this top of the 8th inning to Jonathan Aranda. The 3-2. Hit sharply on one hop to short, backhanded Bichette. Sets himself, throws over to first. And that's a grinding first out of the inning for Yariel Rodriguez.
And that was the split finger. I like that pitch. You just have to have enough confidence in it to throw it right down the middle. And he did exactly that. That split finger had a little bit of drop to it, but not too much drop where it drops out of the strike zone. And Jonathan Aranda thought it was a fastball and hit a little ground ball to Bo Bichette.
So 1 out, nobody aboard. Pitch to Christopher Morel. Swing and a miss, strike 1. It's a big spot that John Schneider has put Yariel Rodriguez in. We're assuming Jeff Hoffman is down today after 21 pitches yesterday. A 1 pitch inside, 1-1. Blue Jays used Chad Green yesterday for 14 pitches. In theory, he's probably available, but it seems like instead of going Green back-to-back days, they've already used Little. They're saving Garcia for later. They give Yariel Rodriguez the shot here in the 8th. The 1-1. Breaking ball, breaks back over the plate, called a strike, 1-2.
I mean, and you have to imagine that John Schneider likes what he's seen from Yariel Rodriguez. I mean, we're watching the same games John Schneider's watching, and we're singing his praises right now, right? So
the 1-2. Swing and a fly ball out to left field. Late break Clase headed to the corner, makes the catch, one-handed, 2 outs.
And he looks really comfortable out there. The stuff is good. But like I said at the beginning of this inning, the biggest hurdle for him is just throwing strike 1 in these big situations. It's almost like he tries to do too much, doesn't trust his stuff, doesn't realize that he throws 98 miles an hour. A big couple of outs here in this game.
So 2 down and the bases still empty. The Blue Jays leading 3-1 in the top of the 8th inning. Cameron Meisner is the batter. Yariel kicks and deals. First pitch is outside, ball 1. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. 1-0 pitch, hit back foul. It's 1-1. Meisner with a single around a pair of strikeouts today. Came out of the gates scalding hot this year. Hit 400 in his first 16 games. Last 20 or so have been more of a struggle. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Really nice slider there from Yariel Rodriguez, who might have the off-speed working better today even than that hard fastball. It's 1-2.
Just filling up the strike zone. That's what you like to see with a lead in the 8th inning.
3-1 Blue Jays. 2 outs, bases empty. Rodriguez kicks, hesitates, deals. Swing and a miss. He got him. Beautiful splitter down and away. Yariel Rodriguez with a perfect 8th inning with a punch out to cap it off. 3-1 Blue Jays, middle of the 8th, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leading off next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations, where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
It's time to kickstart spring at TSC. Discover top brands to live it up outdoors. Shop gardening tools, patio lights, furniture, and more. And split purchases into 6 interest-free easy pay payments. We got what you need to get your green thumbs going. Light up your nights. Have some fun. Go on a camping adventure with Coleman. Crank up your playlist with Bose. And show everyone why you're the grill master with Weber. Make the most of spring. Shop now at tsc.ca. Exciting offers every day.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Glidey rocks the ball to left field. The Blue Jays have gone back-to-back.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. digging in as Eric Orsi takes over again on the hill. 3-1 Blue Jays, bottom of the 8th, and the right-hander's pitch is fouled back 0-1. Orsi's non-conventional pitch to contact approach worked well for him in the 7th, non-conventional for a reliever at least. He threw only 4 pitches to retire the Blue Jays. Now his 6th pitch of the outing goes to Vlad. High, ball 1. We joked a little bit about his unconventional style, but Eric Orsi, a 5th rounder out of the University of New Orleans, is a really inspirational story. Right-handers 1-1. Hit in the air, center field. Coming forward, Meisner pulls up, and that one drops in for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., his 2nd hit of the day.
It's a little changeup from Orsi. Actually, not a bad pitch below the strike zone, but seemed like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. goes golfing there, hits it off the end of the bat, and dumps it in front of Cameron Meisner in center field.
So Guerrero getting rid of the batting gloves on first. We'll get to the Eric Orsi story in a second. First, Anthony Santander is up, and we're about to take a look at the standings. Santander faces a first pitch and takes it outside. Ball 1. The Tigers have walked off the Red Sox 6-5. So we can now look at the Bet365 standings. With Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and you can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus. Play responsibly. Ontario only. 1-0. Called strike. Yankees 25-18 with the Red Sox lost. They're now tied with the Blue Jays in terms of games back, 22-23. The Blue Jays are 20-21. Rays 19-22. Orioles 15-26. 1-1. Santander pops it up. Right side of the infield, maybe in foul territory. Aranda crosses the line. The first baseman with a two-handed catch halfway to home. And there's one out. So on the the Bet365 standings, main takeaways, if the Blue Jays can hold on to this 3-1 lead and win the game, they'll jump ahead of the Boston Red Sox for 2nd in the division. It's been a little bit since the Blue Jays could say that. 1 out, Guerrero on first. Eric Orsi still on the hill. And his pitch to George Springer. Swing and a liner over the leaping third baseman, Caminero, bouncing down the left field line. Guerrero round 2nd to 3rd. Big stop sign, Carlos Fabulous. So Guerrero stops at 3rd, Springer into 2nd with a double. His first hit of the day and 10th double of the year.
Big couple of runs out there on base for the Blue Jays. If they can score these 2 runs, I'm sure Jimmy Garcia won't be in this ball game. You can save him a little bit perhaps for tomorrow or Thursday. The Blue Jays don't have an off day until Monday.
Mound meeting right now as Dalton Varsho waits to hit. Kyle Snyder going to talk to Eric Orsi. Let's get a little bit to Eric Orsi. So 5th rounder by the Mets in 2020 out of University of New Orleans. Orsi was in the middle of his career with New Orleans, and he was a pitcher, but they needed some help catching just in terms of working guys in between outings, so they had him catching, and he noticed that he was experiencing some groin pain. Figured it was just, hey, I haven't caught since I was in high school or before that. But he ended up going to the doctor. Orsi was diagnosed with testicular cancer and had skin cancer as well. Ended up beating both of those while still playing baseball at University of New Orleans and playing well enough at University of New Orleans while going through all of that he got himself drafted in the 5th round out of a school that's not exactly known for producing major league players. The odds very much stacked against Orsi in that case, and he came out on top of it. Great to see him on a major league mound. He's dealing with trouble, though. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. And the pitch to Dalton Varsho with the infield in. Popped up, back behind the plate. That one's going to drift over our heads into the seats, 500 level, 0-1.
When you were telling that story, I was picturing him catching. He is a big dude, 6'4", 200 pounds.
Yeah.
He's not meant to be a catcher.
No. Just like you weren't meant to be a catcher.
I know from experience.
Yeah. Orsi set, looking at 3rd. And the 0-1. High and inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Dalton Varsho today with a hit in the 6th inning. He's 1 for 3. It was a crucial hit because it kept that 6th inning going, and Alejandro Kirk would homer 1 batter later to get the score to 3-1, where it sits now in favor of the Blue Jays. 1-1 pitch. High and outside, 2-1. Springer on 2nd, Guerrero on 3rd, 1 out. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, 2-2. 2 strikes on Varsho. Now you're just thinking about at least getting that ball in play and really trying to get that ball up in the air. If you could score 1 here, I think you're pretty happy.
Yeah, even if you're fooled by something, just try to get the barrel to the baseball and sneak it through this drawn-in infield.
2-2. Swing and a pop-up. Left side of the diamond. Shortstop Taylor Walls underneath it on the infield. Turf makes the catch, and there are 2 outs.
Well, that's what Orsi wanted. You either want to strike out in that situation or you want an infield pop-up. And he got the latter. Pretty good pitch, a slider that Dalton Varsho is out in front of.
So the Blue Jays will ask for another big hit out of Alejandro Kirk, who hit his 3rd home run of the season, a 3-run shot in the 6th inning to score all 3 Blue Jays runs. It's 3-1 Toronto. And Kirk's return to the lineup after a day off due to getting hit in the head with a backswing. The pitch fouled off to the right, 0-1.
How about Alejandro Kirk hitting 295? He's almost at 300.
After a slow start, too. He has really turned it around. Infield plays shifted toward the 3rd base side of the diamond. First baseman Aranda right in between 1st and 2nd as Kirk takes in the dirt. Good sliding block from his buddy Danny Jansen behind home plate. It's 1-1. Springer takes a big lead off 2nd. Guerrero with a smaller lead off 3rd in foul territory. Danny Jansen's going to go out to the mound and talk to his pitcher. I feel like 99 times out of 100, crowd boos that. It's Danny Jansen, so they give him a pass.
Yeah, they're probably just figuring out what they want to throw here in a 1-1 count. Like I said, 2 big runs on 2nd and 3rd for the Blue Jays.
Mound meeting over. Danny Jansen walking back to home plate. 3-1. Again, the Blue Jays lead 2nd and 3rd. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th. And in the Toronto pen in left field, Jimmy Garcia is ready to go. He's not even really throwing anymore. Every once in a while, he'll toss a pitch to the plate. But right now, he's just watching the game. One to Kirk. Swings at a pitch in the dirt. It's a good off-speed pitch right there. The changeup bounced behind the plate, 1-2.
And there's also nobody else warming up with Jimmy Garcia. So that tells me even if the Blue Jays score these 2 runs here, it's probably going to be Jimmy Garcia.
The only other thing I could think of is maybe it's still Yariel.
Maybe. That's also a good point. That is a very good point, actually.
Just because he's got length.
Yeah.
But it's a 50-50. I mean, my guess is as good as yours.
Just a little bit better.
I don't think so. It's a 50-50 in my mind. Two on, two out. The 1-2. Kirk lines it. Center field. And caught on a slide by Meisner. The Blue Jays are certainly thinking about that. John Schneider holds his hand up and asks George Springer to touch home plate in case that did get down. Paul Clemens is trying to keep the Rays on the field for a moment. And the Blue Jays are not going to challenge. That's a massive catch by Meisner, taking away a hit and 2 runs, sliding onto the turf to end the 8th inning. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left for the Blue Jays. We go to the 9th. Toronto leading 3-1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Ascorn, Lincoln Park, Shinedown, and more prepare to conquer Daytona Beach. Pre-game for the 2025 Welcome to Rockville Festival with an exclusive limited engagement channel. Rockville Radio. Listen now, anytime and anywhere in the SiriusXM app. And catch live coverage from the festival starting tomorrow.
How we doing out there, Rockville?
On Octane, Channel 37.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball. That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news. We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up. Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
No one brings you the passion of the beautiful game quite like SiriusXM FC.
Would you believe this?
Whether it's live matches from the EPL, MLS, the NWSL, or the UEFA Champions League.
This is sensational!
Or live talk shows featuring the sport's most entertaining experts.
You don't get to say, I don't feel like making that play right now. You make the play.
It's the world of soccer at your fingertips.
How mouth-watering is that?
SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Top of the 9th inning, and the Blue Jays lead the Rays 3-1. To pitching change for Toronto, brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Jimmy Garcia is in with Jeff Hoffman unavailable today. The Blue Jays go to Garcia looking for a save. They'll also make a substitution in left field, bringing in Miles Straw defensively for Jonathan Clase. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Jose Caballero leads off for the Rays, who have the bottom third of the order up. Don't let that fool you, though. They had the exact same section of the order, 7, 8, 9 up yesterday, and scored 5 in the 9th to win the game. First pitch to Caballero, called a strike, 0-1. It's Caballero, Walls, who hasn't hit yet today, and Jansen scheduled to bat for the Rays. Garcia ahead, 0-1. Righty rocks and offers. Swing and a miss. 97 elevated. Got him to chase. It's 0-2.
That's that good stuff right there. 97 just above the strike zone. An awkward swing. That's what we've seen so often when Jimmy Garcia is good over his last 2 or 3 outings. Haven't really seen those awkward swings. It's good to see it again.
Garcia kicks. Deals. Called. Strike 3. Sweeper at the knees. 1 down.
That's the first hurdle right there for Jimmy Garcia, getting that first batter. Over the last 3 games, he hasn't got that first hitter, and he's given up a bunch of runs, a bunch of base hits. That's a big out for him.
Blue Jays allowed Garcia to get some rest. Last time he pitched was Friday. He offers to Taylor Walls. Called a strike, 0-1. On Friday, he went a scoreless inning, although he did allow a hit and 2 walks. Switch hitter Walls batting left. With 1 out, here's the 0-1. Swing and a line drive left center. Varsho on the run, into the gap, slides into the catch, 2 down. Rule number 1, don't hit it anywhere close to that guy. Dalton Varsho takes another hit away, and the Blue Jays 1 out away from picking up a win.
Never a doubt, right? What a slide. So graceful. And just pops up for out number 2.
Danny Jansen, the last hope for the Tampa Bay Rays. 3-1 Blue Jays. Jansen will ask for time in this 9th inning. That's brought to you by new pizza from Pizza Pizza. Get a huge 18-inch double XL 3-topping pizza for just $19.99. Bigger slices, bigger bites. Only at Pizza Pizza, actually Canadian. First pitch to Jansen. Called a ball. Could have gone either way. Maybe just off the outside corner. It's 1-0. Jansen in the 9th yesterday executed a hit and run to perfection, bouncing a ball through the right side. He's 0 for 3 today. 1-0. Swinging a ground ball to third. Backhanded Barger. Takes his time. Throws over to first. And the Blue Jays win. After 5 straight offensive outbursts, the Blue Jays rely on strong pitching today, starting with Chris Bassett, ending with Jimmy Garcia to win 3-1 and even up the series.
Well, they relied on strong pitching and Alejandro Kirk. Kirk coming through with a huge 3-run home run in this ball game. He continues to swing the bat really well. Ended the ball game 2 for 4. But this is a very, very important win for the Toronto Blue Jays.
3-1 the final score. We'll take a break and then get you over to Blue Jays talk after wrapping it up. Stick with us. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL 3-topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
Tomorrow on Sportsnet.
Now the lead pass for Hall. Moving in on Thompson.
It's do or die for the Caps. Will the Canes seal the deal in Washington? Then, Hockey Central gets you set.
And the Stars will put the President's Trophy winners on the break. Stars,
All hands on deck in Winnipeg for a must-win game.
Hey, sports fans. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here on Toronto Sports Insider during the Playoff Pulse. Our mission is simple, bringing sports fans together to hang out, cheer, and change the world one insider at a time, while supporting SickKids Hospital in Toronto every single game.
Cheers, insiders and sports fans from around the world. The Playoff Pulse campaign on Toronto Sports Insider is uniting fans worldwide through the thrill of NHL and NBA playoffs. Every game, every fan, every moment counts. The link is pinned in the chat and in the description. Check out our campaign page. Donate if you can, or share it with friends. Holy Mackinac! Every click helps sick kids heal the future. Just by being here, you have already made an impact. Now, chat it up, keep it classy, and let's keep changing the world one insider at a time.
Today against the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. And Chris, you mentioned it, the big swing from Alejandro Kirk. The Blue Jays got him back today after he missed a game. Toronto didn't have much offensive success overall today against Ryan Pepio until the 6th. Leadoff walk by Vlad Guerrero Jr. Back-to-back strikeouts, but Dalton Varsho came up with a hit, and Kirk came up with one of his biggest swings so far this year.
Ryan Pepio was really good all night until that one pitch. It was a four-seam fastball up and away, and we've seen over the course of this streak from Alejandro Kirk, he's so good at going the other way, so good at hitting that elevated fastball up and away, and he demolished that fastball from Ryan Pepio. A huge home run for him, a huge home run for this team. This is a big win.
Blue Jays get the lead off of Pepio, and then the bullpen locks it down from there. Bassett went 5 2/3, 1 run. Little with a scoreless inning in a third. Garcia pitched a scoreless 8th to keep a 2-run lead. Rodriguez pitched the scoreless 8th. Garcia pitched the 9th to pick up the save. The Rays ended up with 1 run on 7 hits, 1 error, 8 left. The Blue Jays with 3 runs on 8 hits, 2 errors, 6 left. Only 1 hit with runners in scoring position, but hey, who cares when it's a homer, especially a 3-run homer. This game took 2 hours and 27 minutes in front of over 22,000. Little with the win, he's 2-0. Pepio with the loss, he's 2-5, and Jimmy Garcia with the save, his 3rd of the year. The Blue Jays back to 500, 21-21 with the win. The Rays 19-23 with the loss. We'll be back tomorrow as the Blue Jays wrap up the series at 3:07. Thanks so much for tuning in. From Derek Brandeo and Tom Young, our technical directors, Joe Ali, our host and producer, and Chris LaRue, my partner, I'm Ben Schulman. Have a great rest of your night and stick around for at least a little bit of a winning edition of Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker. It starts right now.
All right, well, look, there's nothing Kevin and I can do about what's happening down the street right now. And there's nothing you can do either. So let's just enjoy, shall we, the Blue Jays 3-1 win over the Tampa Bay Rays at the Rogers Center. Tonight, it is Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker. A very rapid edition. We'll turn you over at some point to Bunkus, Bourne, and McKee, and you can drown your sorrows with the boys after the Leafs-Panthers game goes final. I'll spare you the gory details. Barker, Kirky. It's the Alejandro Kirk game. Throws out the base runner, one of the fastest runners in baseball, and hits a 3-run home run.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've
Earning
always said
his money tonight, Kevin.
I've always said this. It's not how many he gets; it's when he gets them. I mean, that's one of the situations where you need him to come up and slug a little bit, right? And I think just the little sort of mechanical changes he's made, shortening up the bigger moves, making them smaller, just allows when he does make his positive move towards the pitcher, he can get his front foot down a little bit more on time. You know, gives him at least a decent chance to catch up to some velocity. He's doing that because he's keeping his hands inside the baseball. I've said this, and I'll continue to say it. You got to let him throw a ball down the middle. Jeff, where was the 0-2 pitch at?
Down the middle.
You couldn't have set it on a tee any better. And when you get him, you don't miss him, right? I mean, you know, he wasn't trying to do too much. He does have that approach where everything's going towards right center. You can remember last year, if you close your eyes, right, it was the first move was opening the hips because he's trying to get the barrel in the zone because, quite frankly, it wasn't fast enough to sort of catch up to all the quadrants that he was trying to catch up to. Now you don't feel like he has to do that, right? I think just the flow of starting to play every single day, making those little minor mechanical changes, being in a happy zone between the ears, having the good direction to where you want your barrel to end up. It's not so much about the pitch you're looking for. It's about where the direction of your barrel's going. That's right center. Get you a decent pitch. Hopefully he's going to start slugging some more, right? Again, I'll say this and I'll continue to say it. It ain't how many Kirky's getting. It's when Kirky's getting them. And tonight it's exactly what the doctor ordered. What's the old saying? You get good pitching, you play really good defense, you get timely hitting. That's called winning, Jeff.
I've never heard that saying before.
Well, I'll be here all week.
3-1, the Blue Jays have beaten the Tampa Bay Rays. Jimmy Garcia finishing off the game, looking like the Jimmy Garcia we've seen in the past. Chris Bassett keeping the Rays lineup at bay. Ryan Pepio, a guy we talked about him coming into the game. He's got a really good fastball, but he's had issues with location. It's been hit hard. The OPS against his fastball is one of the worst in Major League Baseball. Kevin, he looked awfully good tonight, but again, location.
Absolutely. I mean, again, he had velocity. He had a good location on the fastball. Danny Jansen did a really good job, setting the target up. It was basically, I'm going to put my body where it needs to be. The last thing you'll see is the glove. Throw it at the glove, right? So much aim at the middle of the body, right? Danny's a big dude. You got a lot of room to miss there. He did a really good job of getting Ryan in the zones. You needed to get him in, but give the rotation for the Blue Jays credit. Bassett was good little when he came in, trying to find the release point on the knuckle curve's not the easiest thing, right? I mean, he's relying on stuffing people to death with that thing more than location. Sometimes it's hard to keep it in the zone. He did a decent enough job. Yariel Rodriguez, huh? Who, what, when, where? Wow. I mean, he continues to do that. All of a sudden, he's running out of the pen. Jeff Blair ain't yelling and screaming anymore. You mentioned Garcia. They made a couple of defensive plays when they had to. You mentioned the Kirky throwing out the really fast Simpson runner at second base, which is a big deal, right?
I mean, makes the play at home.
Absolutely. I mean,
key plays in what turned out to be a two-run game. Both of those key plays, both of those saving potential runs. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, and the Varsho slide in the ninth inning too sort of helped, right? Take a little pressure off of Jimmy when, Jimmy's going through it. So, yeah, I mean, they made the plays when they had to make them. It's sort of like Groundhog Day with its defense. It's sort of boring because they're making the plays most of the time that they should be making. That's what you do when you're trying to win. You got to make those plays. They did exactly that. After the game last night, I think this is the perfect scenario. You had your dude on the mound. He did what he had to do. He tried to sequence the Rays to death, which is exactly what Bassett did, right? It's away, it's moving, it's changing speeds. It's frustrating the dude on the on-deck circle, so when you walk to the plate, you really have no plan. That's exactly what he did, and somebody needs to run into one. 19 homers last 13 games.
Oh, the
small ball? What?
They're starting to slug. I mean, you talked about it. It's not that they're incapable of slugging. It's just that it's what they were swinging at, and we're starting to see that manifest itself now. There really is. Look, it's not the greatest lineup in baseball, but as you've said, there is slug in this lineup. It shouldn't come as a surprise that we're starting to see it. And I just get the sense, the past. I mean, we've gone back and forth, and we've talked about this about about the Jays record and the first month and all this stuff. You just kind of get the sense when you watch a team that it's almost as if the season. There's a certain point in the year where the season starts, and it's not just opening day. It's just things kind of develop a rhythm. The strengths start to show themselves. The weaknesses, yes, they start to show themselves, but teams have started to adjust to try to address those weaknesses. You just kind of get the sense that we might as well just settle in right now, because this to me is the 2025 season. This is the way it's going to look right now until we get the trade deadline. This is the way it's going to look.
Just stream if you can get Vladdy and Tony Taters hot at the same time. Yeah. Right? I mean, both of them dudes are late. Buck was talking about it, right? Velocity and zones, they should be hammering. I mean, they're not because they're late.
Anthony Santander is just overmatched by 95, 96.
Overmatched is a bit strong. I think
he's swinging and missing.
That's sometimes not overmatched, right? I mean, he's getting the pitches he wants to get in zones he wants to get them at. I mean, the pitches he's striking out is because he's missing pitches that he should be hammering. It's either he's starting when the pitcher's in the wrong spot, right? I mean, that's a lot of it too, is it's not a lot of the times when you start your trigger. It's when you start when the pitcher goes. When is that? Is he doing it too late? That for me is when they need to sort of go back to the drawing board and figure out how to just get his foot down a little sooner, which allows him to start hitting some homers. So they're 500 without them two basically doing anything. Hopefully they can turn it around.
3-1, the Blue Jays have beaten the Tampa Bay Rays. This series is tied up at 1 game apiece. The third game of the series goes tomorrow afternoon at 3:07. We're going to step aside, come back, and take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. It's Blue Jays Talk on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Make no payments for 12 months with the Timber Mart Deferred Payment Program. Apply for a Timber Mart project card today and pay later, 12 months later. Financing provided by Fairstone Financial Inc. Conditions apply. Ask in-store for details or apply at timbermart.ca. Locally owned, proudly Canadian. Timber Mart is Canada's building center.
Tomorrow on Sportsnet.
Now the lead pass for Hall. Moving in on Thompson.
It's do or die for the Caps. Will the Canes seal the deal in Washington? Then, Hockey Central gets you set.
And the Stars will put the President's Trophy winners on the break. Stars, Patrick, Ford, Roland.
All All hands on deck in Winnipeg for a must-win Game 5. The Stanley Cup Playoffs. Watch on Sportsnet. Stream on Sportsnet Plus.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch three-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Order pizzapizza.ca.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You can bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike three. How about 99 right down the middle beats Manzardo?
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The 0-2. Swing and a fly ball. Right center field. Meisner back at the track. Turns around. See you later. Big fly, Alejandro Kirk, and the Blue Jays jump in front, 3-1.
That was Ben Shulman with the call as Alejandro Kirk's 3-run home run, the big blow in the Blue Jays 3-1 win over the Tampa Bay Rays. It is an abbreviated edition of Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker. They're down to the stems and seeds at Scotiabank Arena, and we'll get you over to Leafs Talk in a few minutes. The Leafs just scored, and there's all sorts of nastiness now in front of the net, which is, I guess if you're going to show up, you might as well show with 1:06 left in the game.
Be nice. Well, man.
Yeah. Anyhow, time to look around the out-of-town scoreboard, specifically at the American League East with Bet365. You can download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Man, the Baltimore Orioles, Kevin Barker, they are
my twins. Yes.
That's my twins. That's my team.
No.
Baltimore Orioles are in a world of hurt. I get up every morning expecting to see that Brandon Hyde's been fired by the Orioles. The Minnesota Twins. Well, yeah, I mean, that's dumb. It's not his fault, but managers get fired when their team's 15-26. The Orioles swept today by the Minnesota Twins 8-6 and 6-3. The Yankees, they beat the Seattle Mariners 3-2. The Detroit Tigers, they're in next. And boy, they got it going on. The Detroit Tigers beating the Boston Red Sox 6-5 today. So that, coupled with the Blue Jays win, leaves the American League standings thusly. The Yankees are 25-18.
Let's hear it, Jeff. Let's hear it.
What?
Who's in second place?
The Blue Jays are in second place with a gaudy 500 record.
Yes.
They are 21-21. Again, the record doesn't matter. It's all relative to where you are with the other playoff teams. The Boston Red Sox, they're a game under 500. The Tampa Bay Rays are 4 under 500 at 19-23. And Barker's poor old little Baltimore Orioles. They are 15-26, and
it's early.
Yeah, it's not early if you're the Baltimore Orioles. Their run differential, Kevin, minus 70. Minus 70.
Do you blow it up?
Well, no. But for comparison's sake, the Miami Marlins are minus 73. The Colorado Rockies, yeah. I'm not even going to say what the Colorado.
What is it?
It's minus 132.
Wow, really?
That's really hard to do.
That's awesome.
That is that's really hard to do. So yeah, no, listen to the Orioles. I mean, obviously you're not gonna blow it up because it's a young team, but I mean, you've got to do. Look, you're gonna have to get some starting pitching in next year, the year after. I mean, you might as well start it right now. You know, if I'm the Orioles, I'm sitting there saying, I got to get a deal done with one of my young guys. I just have to. I have to send a message. I got to get a deal done with Gunnar Henderson, and then you got to trade for pitching. And I'm at the point now where I understand he's team leader. You know, we said there's something Jeter-esque about the guy, all this stuff, but I might be soliciting some calls for Adley Rutschman at some point at this trade deadline. Well, they're top prospects at catcher. I mean, you got to do something to get not just one pitcher, but you got to get a couple of pitchers in. You got to hope that Grayson Rodriguez comes back at somebody. We're not even talking about this year. We're talking about next year. I think we're already talking about next year with the Orioles. So
yeah. Well, you're talking about blaming players. You know, for me, that they didn't have anything to do with stopping momentum, organizational momentum.
Nobody's blaming the players, but I mean, you're gonna. You know, if you want to get new players in, you're going to have to trade guys. Nobody's blaming them. I'm not blaming Gunnar Henderson for the fact they aren't winning. I'm not even blaming Adley Rutschman. But nobody's blaming anybody about that. But if you're going to get players in, you got to trade players. Doesn't mean the players haven't done the job, but it's the only way you're going to get. It's the only way you're going to address those issues.
The $1 million question has been for the last year and a half: who do you trade? Because they seem to can't come up with the answer to that.
Well, that's a good point. And we've spent a great deal of time talking about that. Kobe Mayo is a perfect example. They've hung on to guys, and you know, I mean, I don't know how much traction there really was with Tarek Skubal at the trade deadline last year, but I would have made it traction if I was running the Orioles. I would absolutely have made a traction. You think about maybe getting him, and you also already had Corbin Burns. Yeah, I just think the Orioles are mishandling. I think they've really mishandled their window of opportunity.
Yep.
But anyhow, we'll have plenty of time to talk about the Baltimore Orioles. The story tonight: the Blue Jays winning 3-1. Good defense, good starting pitching. Jimmy Garcia gets the save. Alejandro Kirk comes through with the 3-run home run. Kevin, Chris Bassett tonight. Buck and Dan talked about his decision in concert with Pete Walker to essentially let Alejandro Kirk call the game using the PitchCom. Bassett would shake. If he didn't like the pitch, he'd shake off. The thought process was that this would go a little ways towards helping him develop a little more rhythm. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it didn't seem to me like it lasted very long. I mean, you're seeing that, an inning and a half, and then it went south. And, once he's getting on the side of the backdoor cutter or the cutter up and in, he stopped doing that, right? It's the sequencing. It's trying to get on the same page quicker.
Bassett wasn't calling many pitches.
He was pushing the button a lot. Like it was early. I think that's more early, just trying to get him in rhythm quicker, so it can take a little bit of the mental pressure off of Bassett and allow him just to think about release point and getting in his lanes and thinking about, where this thing's moving to. And if I get it there, what am I throwing for the next pitch, instead of worrying about what button to always push. If you're letting the catcher do that, maybe that just gives him a little bit of a mental break, allows him just to make better quality pitches in better locations to certain, there was a lot of lefties he's facing. You're thinking more about good misses than thinking about a pitch or two ahead and which button to push and how many times to push it. So I think for me, at least, it was early on, a little bit more about that. After about the second or third inning, you were seeing him push the button a lot. So Yeah, I mean, it worked. It's not the best stuff we've ever seen him have. I mean, he's been this way the last couple of outings. You just like when he made a bad one, he didn't let it fester. He got right back after it. The cutter was cutting enough. The sinker he was throwing was getting in there enough to allow him to, when he did miss with some secondary pitches, he could get away with them. So, yeah, throw enough strike ones. You throw enough quality pitches on the black. Your misses are tough takes. You're going to go deep enough to give somebody a chance to run into one. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, getting out of the fourth inning with just allowing one run was really huge, I think, for him. And that was the defense. That was the defensive play we saw from Ernie Clement with Meisner at home plate.
The first inning with 2 on, the third inning with 2 on,
right.
The fourth thing he just mentioned. I mean, he was like the worm. He was wiggling out a bunch of situations out there. It worked. I think this is the Bassett you should get used to seeing. You're going to have to grind through it, right? I mean, he's not super hard thrower anymore. He's not going to consistently throw 94. It's going to be more 91, 92, which means the location has to be super on point. He's going to have to think 3 or 4 pitches ahead. I think that's why Buck and Petey and, Kirky and whoever else wants to throw their 2 cents with was just sort of try and get it on the tracks early as you possibly can. And then if you want to start filling in the blanks a little bit later, you can do that.
All right, the final score, the Blue Jays beating the Tampa Bay Rays 3-1. The third game of the series goes tomorrow afternoon. It's a 3:07 first pitch. Blair and Barker will be on from 2 to 3 to get you set for that game. We're going to pass you off right now to the boys and Leafs talk. Thank you for listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in El Monte and Carlton Place. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection.
Major League Play-by-Play is now on SiriusXM Radio and online with the SiriusXM app.
Why do I love calling this game?
Calling this game?
Calling this game?
Calling this game?
Why do I love calling this game? It's because I get a chance to bring some joy into people's lives.
Anything can happen on a baseball field.
We've got a new game! It's perfectly unscripted theater.
Everybody on their feet!
Because you never know what you're going to see on a given day.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just walked it off.
There's just something about baseball on the radio.
Something about the way wood hits leather.
A swing and a drive to deep left center.
The way leather hits dirt.
And he made the play. Oh, my.
The way a deep fly ball sounds like it's about to change history.
High fly ball to center field. It's hit pretty well.